round series. Hat-tricks trying to keep their series alive and get themselves to tomorrow. Prowlers with a chance to win their first playoff series in 7 years. Russell won it back. Scantleberry, he scores! Prowlers break the ice in game 2. Bell walks in, he shoots, he scores! Woolley on goal, Sanders the iron, and they score! Noah Robinson able to bat it out of the air. Hat-tricks with 2 power play goals in quick succession. Get themselves a 2-1 lead. Back up top, Federally down Main Street. He scores! And they say no goal.
The ref from center ice saw contact with the goalie. They reviewed it to make sure that McCollum was in his crease. Unfortunately, he was.
Jumps it off Vasiliev. Goes around short train, his shot, he scores! The Hat-tricks are back in front. Danbury stays alive. We are getting a series deciding game number 3.
Hi, welcome.
I'm just checking in, and I have a service animal.
Service animal?
Do you have anything on the ground floor so I can let him out at night?
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Seasons on the line for both sides here tonight. Who will rise on this Easter Sunday? Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for the final game of Round 1 of the 2025 Commissioners' Cup playoffs. Of course, it has to come down to a Game 3 between these two teams. They have been tight all year long. And tonight, it all comes down to this. One team will see its season come to a close, and the other will book a date with the defending champion, Binghamton Black Bears. But how did we get here? Well, of course, the Prowlers won on Friday at home 6-3. They came in with a chance last night to take the series, but they ended up falling 4-2. A back and forth game. Hat-trick scored 2 early power play goals in the second. Take a 2-1 lead. Prowlers tied it on a power play of their own. They appeared to take the lead with another power play goal a few minutes later. It got called back for goaltender interference, the big controversial call in last night's game. Alexander Vasiliev scored the only goal in the third. Gleb Van Durken hit the empty net, and the Danbury hat trick stayed alive for another day. Take a look at the bracket right now in the FPHL Commissioners Cup playoffs. 3 spots have been claimed. 1 remains in round number 2. Top-seeded Carolina swept Blue Ridge in round 1. They'll take on Columbus, who defeated Athens in a winner-take-all Game 3. Dragons were the road team in that third game. Third year in a row that the Thunderbirds and the River Dragons will battle in the second round of the playoffs. Carolina has won each of the last 2 seasons. Binghamton swept Watertown in the first round, and they await the winner of tonight's game between the Prowlers and the Hat Tricks. Well, Danbury has been boosted by some offense from the back end in Josh LaBelle, who at still just 25 years of age is in his 4th playoffs. He has won a Commissioner's Cup, and he has shown his ability to elevate his game when they matter the most. Goal in each game this series, 10 points in 15 career playoff games. And his 3 points tied for the most among hat tricks, or pardon me, second among hat tricks in this series. Prowlers are going to need this guy to step up tonight if they're to have a chance to take the series. Reggie Millette did not get a point in last night's game, but his 3-point effort in game number 1 led the Prowlers to victory. Can he find the back of the net? Can he set somebody up to find the back of the net? He needs to be a difference maker on offense. Tied for the Prowlers team lead with 3 points in this series. I chatted with Prowlers assistant coach Chris Paulin before this do-or-die game. That was Prowlers assistant coach Chris Paulin ahead of tonight's game. You heard him talk about it. Daniel Chartrand out with a lower body injury tonight. We wish him the best. Hopefully he's tuning in here tonight. But he is out with, again, a lower body injury, so the forward depth being further tested. We talked about how deep this Prowler team is up front, especially with the addition of the 3 Trine forwards. And now, again, all of that being tested heavily here tonight. With Chartrand out, Dylan Marty still unavailable, Drew Welsh still unavailable. But the Prowlers bring in reinforcements from the neutral country, Switzerland, as Vinny DeCumbus and Stefan Deasy draw in for their first action of these Commissioners Cup playoffs. Chartrand and Luke James out of the lineup tonight. The defense pairings return to the combinations from Game 1 as Ben Brockway is back in place of Adam Heinzel. And for the first time since February the 7th, Prowlers dressing both Reed Cooper and Valtteri Nusiainen in the same game. Cooper will get the start tonight as he got in game number 1. As the Hat Tricks get set to announce their starting lineup here tonight, let's give you the Prowlers starting lineup presented by Orthopedic Associates. And up front, Vinny DeCumbis will get the start as his line, along with Jamie Bussell and Tucker Scantleberry, will begin this game. Ben Brockway and Tim Organ, the defense pairing, and as I mentioned, Reed Cooper in between the pipes tonight for the Port Huron Prowlers. As we go back to the lineup here, just for a quick moment, you see on that third line, Tyler Fox is now the extra forward here tonight. Stefan Deasy taking his spot on the third line, and Austin Federley moves back to center where he was in game number 1. Again, Federley doesn't play center all too often, but he was certainly effective in game 1 at that spot when he played with Bobby Price and Drew Welsh. Tonight, he gets Price and Deasy on his line, and of course, Tyler Fox will be cycling through the lines throughout tonight's game. As the Hat-Tricks announce their starting lineup, they will start with the Russian line up front of Vasiliev, Bandurkin, and Frolov. Defense pairing, Xavier Abdella and Kyle Gonzalez. And of course, Connor McCullum back between the pipes for the third straight night. Same starting lineup the Hat-Tricks used for game 1 on Friday. We will take you down to ice level for tonight's national anthem from Danbury Ice Arena.
Athletic trainer Adrian Denberg. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at this time, we ask that you stand if you're able. Remove your caps. Direct your attention to the flags as we honor those who protect our freedom. Singing the national anthem tonight, please welcome our very own Zach Demko. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the
That is tonight's national anthem from Danbury Ice Arena, the final anthem for one of these two teams until October. The winner will get at least another couple of anthems this season. We take a look at the two men between the pipes who will try and earn the win. It's Reed Cooper and Connor McCullum, the goaltending matchup here tonight, same as Friday. Cooper won game 1 on Friday with 26 saves on 29 shots. And he will try to end the series here tonight and move to 2-0 in these playoffs. McCullum stopped 26 shots in the win last night for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. A bounce-back effort for him, and he will need another strong performance to get Danbury on to the second round. Both of these teams went out in round 1 last season. One of them will get to move on this year. We're underway in a series-deciding game number 3. Ben Brockway Goes off the glass, out of the zone. Puck took a nice hop for Port Huron. Tecumseh a long-range shot. Gloved and held by Connor McCullum, and it's already starting up. Bussell and Abdella have to be pried apart. 16 seconds gone, and now Tucker Scantleberry's going to the penalty box. Prowlers go shorthanded early. That is not how Port Huron wanted to start this hockey game. And is Scantleberry being shown the door here? Oh my. A disaster start here for Port Huron, as their alternate captain, Tucker Scantleberry, and one of their best playoff performers, has gotten himself knocked out of this hockey game. And it didn't look like much. But Scantleberry got his arms up on Gleb Van Durken, away from the play between the whistles. And the hat tricks will go on the power play early here. They have not put a time up on the board. They have not put a player in the box. But it looks like Scantleberry is out of this game. Again, it didn't look like much when I looked back at it on our live stream here. That is a tough, tough pill to swallow if you're the Port Huron Prowlers. Again, nothing up on the board quite yet. But definitely a power play for the Danbury Hat Tricks, their first of the night. They were deadly last night, scoring twice. They are 3 for 10 so far in this series. 5 minutes up on the board, a major to Tucker Scantleberry. Danbury with a glorious chance here in game number 3 to take the first lead. Johnny Ruiz walks in, takes the shot, saved by Cooper. Harwell up to the point, Ratcliffe back to Harwell. Down low, Ruiz in tight, and Cooper holds the post. Worked up to the top, Ratcliffe. Down to Harwell. Down low, Ruiz on the backhand, and a third stop by Cooper on the Hat Tricks captain. Whipped across to LaBelle. Turns and looks towards the net. Got it down deep for Hullaby. Now LaBelle. Down low, looking for Ruiz. Good stick by Austin Federley. They dig away in the corner. Hullaby knocked down. Graham finds the puck, takes a look, and floats it all the way down. 1 minute off the 5-minute power play gone. 3 shots on goal so far for the Hat Tricks on the man advantage, all 3 coming from Johnny Ruiz. He's on the bench now as Van Durken chips it in, heads after it. Simmons Fisher lost his stick. Lockhart finds the puck, goes all the way around the boards, but Gonzalez kept it in. Woolley working on the half wall. Simmons Fisher has his twig. He's back in position. Vasiliev to Van Durken, tapped it right back. Frolov to Vasiliev. Van Durken, one-timer got through, and Cooper with the save. Tecumseh rode it up the dasher. Gonzalez got it back deep. Comes all the way around. A hat trick went down in front. The sparse crowd here at Danbury Ice Arena wants a penalty. They won't get it, as the Prowlers are just able to force it over the line. Van Durken working back in as Port Huron is making a change. Throws on the brakes. Van Durken across to Ratcliffe. LaBelle fakes the shot. Went all the way across, couldn't find a teammate, and Bussell clears. 2:50 left on the 5-minute major. LaBelle skates up. Long lead pass finds Hullaby. Out to Harwell on the left wing side. Back for Ruiz. Up top, Ratcliffe sends it through, and looking for Harwell at the side of the post. He didn't get a good touch on it. Ruiz back up top to Ratcliffe. LaBelle one-timer, scooped up by Reed Cooper. Five shots on net so far for this Hat-Tricks power play that is halfway over. Reed Cooper's father is in the building and looking nervous in one of the suites up top. He's been at all 3 games now this first round series. Got to see his son get the victory on Friday and hoping to see another one here tonight. LaBelle let it on for Hullaby, who just tipped it in. Brockway trying to beat Ruiz to that puck. Now Brockway just pins it up along the boards. 3 Hat-Tricks able to dig it out. LaBelle for Harwell. Ruiz in tight shot, and another sharp angle save by Cooper on the Hat-Tricks captain. LaBelle for Ratcliffe. Back to LaBelle. Harwell looks towards the net. Goes down low. Ruiz couldn't bring it in clean. To the point. LaBelle. Ruiz unloads a one-timer. Fought off by Cooper. Harwell trying to regain control of the puck. Tried to center, put it on the stick of Lockhart. Now Ruiz scores as the puck batted around. Came to Johnny Ruiz, a power play goal. That's the Hat-Tricks going early in Game 3. And it looked like the Prowlers are going to be able to clear, but it just bounced away. And Johnny Ruiz finally gets his first goal of this series on the 8th shot of the man advantage for the Hat-Tricks. Minute 19 left to go on it. Well, the Prowlers get through over 3.5 minutes of the PK, but they surrender the game's first goal. Here's Gonzalez. Getting to the red line, drops it off. Van Durken enters the offensive zone. Frolov takes a look all the way around the net. Back around for Van Durken. Up to the point. Gonzalez touched it around. Woolley down low off a stick. Popped up on Frolov. Van Durken one-timer, and Vasiliev didn't get anything on it. The Prowlers clear with 40 seconds left on the Hat-Tricks power play. Up comes Gonzalez. Gets the red line, drops it off. Van Durken chips it in and heads after it. Parsons gave it off for Price. He's able to sweep it out of the zone as he took a hard hit. Woolley works back in. That one just onside as Van Durken able to stretch out that leg. Fox finds the puck. He clears it down. That will take care of the rest of the Hat-Tricks power play, but they do get one. Johnny Ruiz breaks the ice here in Game 3. Hat-Tricks with a 1-0 lead. The team that scored the first goal has lost both games so far. Here's Millette working in on the backhand. Tried to move it across to Graham, and he just lost the puck. Lockney took a stick up high. That draws a penalty, but Lockney might be going as well. I think they might get Lockney for an embellishment here. Slashing to Frolov, and possible embellishment to Lucas Lockney. We will take a break. 1-0 Hat-Tricks. This is the Commissioner's Cup playoffs presented by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rear-view mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
The Eastern Michigan Small Business Network, providing resources and funding to help start or grow your business. Small business support in participating Region 6 counties. Take advantage of the network's free training and events for entrepreneurs and small business owners. The Eastern Michigan Small Business Network aims to boost your chances of success. Learn more about the network's small business cohort program. With rentable workspaces, business coaching, training, and funding opportunities, it's time to become a client of the Eastern Michigan Small Business Network.
We'll have some 4-on-4 hockey here in Danbury as Lockney gets 2 for embellishment, Frolov 2 for slashing, so no first power play of the game for the Port Huron Prowlers. Off the face-off, it's Noah Robinson hustling up, chased by Stefan DC, and DC able to steal it away. He's dragged down to the ice, gets back to his skates, takes a shot, and McCullum got a piece. Oh, Stefan DC back in the lineup for the first time in a while, got hurt here in Danbury and was placed on leave back on March 26th, returned earlier this week, and gets his first Commissioner's Cup playoff action here tonight. Lobel back behind his own net. In no hurry as he directs traffic, watched by Austin Federley. Lobel steps out to the left wing side, Harwell. Working on Simmons Fisher. Harwell turns the corner, gets the net, and Cooper able to shut him down. Organ for Simmons Fisher, rink wide feed. Federley had to come back for it. Federley able to work up, goes to the left wing side to Organ. Simmons Fisher tripped up. Here's Organ on goal, save the rebound. Batted up in the air and right to Harwell, hustling up with Gonzalez. Harwell takes the shot and a kick saved by Cooper. Rebound bounce past Gonzalez. Back comes Price the other way, but a penalty coming up against the Prowlers. Third penalty of the game against Port Huron. 6:59 gone in it. And Austin Federley is unhappy with that one. Referees tonight, same as last night, William Lyons and Justin Crawford. The linesmen tonight are Chris Forden and Seamus Andrew. So Simmons Fisher sits, hat tricks get a 4-on-3 man advantage. Johnson will take the face-off against Harwell. Prowlers with 3 defensemen out there right now. As Ruiz one-timer, he scores! A second power play goal of the period for Johnny Ruiz. Hat tricks, up 2-0 early. Penalties were a big factor in last night's game. They've become a factor 7 minutes and 4 seconds into tonight's game. Prowlers down a forward for the game, and they're down 2-0. Still 4-on-4 now as Lockney and Frolov continue to sit in the box. Johnny Ruiz showing up in the biggest game of the year. Not sure what the delay is here from the scorer's table. Ruiz with his 3rd career power play goal. 4th career power play goal in the playoffs. He had come into tonight with just 1 assist so far in the series. 2 early goals for him have given the hat tricks a nice start to the winner-take-all game 3. Prowlers looking for a response. Here comes Millette on the right wing side, gets in. But he lost the handle. And Durkin tried to float it across. Lockhart stepped in front. Over to Price on the right wing side. Price to the slot, his shot off the back glass. LaBelle takes over. Frolov able to push past Federley. Back to 5-on-5, by the way, as Frolov and Lockney are out of their respective penalty boxes. Van Durken tried to center. That didn't work. Comes around the net. Van Durken up high. Pamaleon floats it through off the back wall. Karams all the way to Charlie Bedard at the near point. Centering feed blocked by Lockhart on a knee. This one sent all the way out of the zone. No icing. Port Huron will get a change. Van Durken and Lockhart were tied up behind the play, but we continue. Here comes Robinson. Tries to dance around, sent it across. Backhander by Newberg got blocked. And then Newberg tried to throw the body into Stefan DC. Newberg floats it right back in. And Simmons Fisher back behind his own net will start up. On for DC, wearing number 96 instead of 29, as that number was taken over by Bobby Price. DC took a hard hit as he dumped it in. Here's Lockney working off the boards, but he's tied up by Abdella, and another penalty coming up. Xavier Abdella gets a holding penalty. No embellishment this time. Prowlers with their first power play of the game, and it feels like a must score. Of course, the reputation of playoff hockey is that everything gets let go, nearly everything, and here we are, 9 minutes in, and nearly everything has been called so far. There's no right or wrong way, but it's certainly not what you'd expect from playoff hockey. Referees are making it clear that they will not tolerate any shenanigans here tonight. Austin Federley had it poked off his stick. Millette backed him up. LaBelle took in that pass and cleared. Lockney trying to work on Ruiz, who's in deep shorthanded. Ruiz knocked down, and Federley is down on the ice now. As Cooper covers up, Austin Federley hobbling back to the Prowler bench. Johnson wants a piece of Johnny Ruiz. Alex Johnson is hot right now, and he has to be escorted to the bench. Did not see what happened there in the corner, but Austin Federley went down and was slow to his skates. He's just now getting back to the Prowler bench. So Ruiz was knocked down, and then Federley went down in some pain. Minute 25 left on this Prowlers power play that hasn't really gotten much going. Shots in this period so far, 13-5 in favor of the Hat-Tricks. They're up 2-0. Price able to tap it back to Oregon, and Port Huron trying to work the other direction. Lockhart, indirect feed off the near side boards. Bedard bounced it back towards Port Huron's end. Frolov finds a loose puck, and he floats it all the way down. Oregon throws on the brakes to Price. Out of the zone, puck bouncing, settled down by DC, but his pass across to Lockhart was sticked away by Bedard. LaBelle taking his sweet time behind the net, and now he dumps it all the way down. 47 seconds left on this Prowlers power play. Lockney all the way up to Simmons Fisher, on for Johnson. Played to the near side, Federley fresh off the bench. Tried to get it deep, couldn't do it. 30 seconds left on the man advantage. Prowlers need something to go right here. Johnson throws on the brakes, gets it to Federley. Floats it through, Graham. Tried to cycle down deep, but Gonzalez the only one there. Kyle Gonzalez will skate it out. Soft toss in, and another penalty coming up against the Port Huron Prowlers. And it's Alex Johnson who's going to the box as Kyle Gonzalez holds his wrist. So Johnson to the box for slashing. As he gave Gonzalez a whack, that will take care of the rest of this Prowlers power play. And we'll get a hat tricks one just a few seconds. When we come back, this is the Commissioner's Cup playoffs on the PHP Network.
Welcome to McDonald's. How may I help you?
Can I please get a big...
What I need from you is a chicken Big Mac.
A chicken Big Mac? That's not a Big Mac.
Actually, it is.
It's not
a Big Mac.
Chicken Big Mac?
Chicken patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, and pickles on a sesame seed bun. Enjoy.
The chicken Big Mac.
It's not a Big Mac.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
We're on a mission to feed the future by helping farmers worldwide be more resilient, more productive, more sustainable for generations to come. Corteva Agriscience. Keep growing.
Hi, welcome.
I'm just checking in, and I have a service animal.
Service animal?
Do you have anything on the ground floor so I can let him out at night?
Back here in Danbury, 4-on-4 for 5 seconds, and then the Hat Tricks will go to their third power play of this opening period. They are at a 5-minute man advantage, and then scored on that, and then a 2-minute man advantage that they scored on, and now they're on their second 2-minute power play. But here's Matt Graham wasting time. Goes over to Lockhart, and he fires it all the way down. LaBelle starts his way up ice. Hat Tricks can certainly really bury this one here as LaBelle comes out, fought off by Cooper. Popped all the way out to the point to Josh LaBelle, who has a hot stick this series. This one sent all the way down the ice. But the Hat Tricks, again, a chance to bury the Prowlers early. Again, lots of time left to go in this hockey game. But a goal here could feel like a nearly impossible mountain. Ratcliffe taken in. Simmons Fisher swooped in for the puck. Centering feed. Ruiz had it bounce through his skates. Now Ratcliffe takes over. Pushed back to the point. LaBelle towards Ratcliffe. Ruiz thought about the one-timer. Now he steps up top. Down low, Harwell. Tried to go in front to Hullaby. Blocked by Brockway. And the Prowlers clear. 37 seconds left to go on the penalty to Alex Johnson. Zach Pamaleon moves his way up to the right wing side. It's Woolley. Throws on the brakes. Pamaleon tried to go up top, but Frolov couldn't bring it in. Kept alive. Woolley makes a move. Had it poked off his stick. Vasiliev up top. Frolov didn't get much on that shot as he stumbled. I think it was blocked on the way through. Van Durken and Graham spun each other down to the ice. The Prowlers kill off this penalty. We're back to 5-on-5. Johnson out of the box. Puck just sent up the boards past him. Vasiliev yelling at the referee as he's still in the offensive zone, so the Hat Tricks couldn't work in. Parsons off the boards all the way down, and that will be an icing against the Prowlers. Brian Parsons still making some gestures towards Vasiliev, like he thought Vasiliev was trying to draw a call. 2-0 Hat Tricks, under 7 minutes to play in period 1. Off the draw, Parsons wraps it around to the far side. Bussell able to tap it out. Newberg or Gonzalez. Long lead pass tipped in by Hullaby. Organ able to smack it around. Newberg keeps it alive. Bussell off the glass. Settled down by Price. The Hat Tricks take back over. Gonzalez up towards Robinson. Trying to get around and couldn't do it. He was stonewalled by Brett Lockhart. Here comes Bussell. He couldn't get past Ruiz with the puck, and then Bussell upended by Noah Robinson. And how about another arm up in the air for the referee? I wonder if his arm is getting tired. Robinson to the box. And a meeting of the minds in front of the benches. Hat-Tricks fans pointing at the Prowler bench right now. Port Huron with another chance on the man advantage here. We'll see if they can get an all-important goal. They send the top unit out there. Graham and Ruiz set for this face-off. Interference the call against Robinson. Off the draw, Ruiz able to clear. Up comes Federley. Drops it off, Millette. Makes a move around Ruiz. Left wing side looking for Johnson. Pass kicked off his skate, but Johnson able to send it deep. Millette. Throws on the brakes. Works his way up top. Across to Lockney. Sent it through. That was blocked partially by a stick. And sent out of the zone. Federley, touch for Lockney. Graham. Stonewalled there by LaBelle. Puck bouncing around. Clearing attempt, hit a hat trick, and finally LaBelle able to get it out. Oregon behind his own net, halfway through this Prowlers power play. Price. Across, DC able to skate into it. Up with speed, DC makes a move on the backhand. Sent it over top of the cage. Price. Able to pull it out. Goes up top to Oregon. Back to Price. Walks in. He fires and just sent it wide. Lockhart. Up top to Oregon. Sent it through and a glove save by McCullum with Simmons Fisher right in front of him. 33 seconds left to go on the Prowlers power play. Little sign of life there. Decent shift from the second power play unit. We'll see if they can keep it going when we come back. This is the Commissioner's Cup playoffs presented by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey.
At Hungry Howie's, we have a flavor philosophy. It's that you deserve to mix and match the most delicious flavor you've ever had with even more of the most delicious flavor you've ever had. But how can you mix and match the most delicious flavor twice at the same time? Well, we're not in the business of logic. We're in the business of blowing your flavor-loving mind with flavor upon flavor. Philosophize on that. Get any 2 items on the mix and match menu, including the 2-topping flatbread pizza for $6.99 each.
Hungry?
Howie's!
Prowlers power play continues here. 33 seconds left on it, and they win the face-off back. Lucas Lockney looks towards the net. Off for Federley. Back to Lockney. Looks ahead, down low. Graham, centered, Johnson. Lockney fires it across. Millette takes it. Saved by McCullum. Graham tried to bank it in, and McCullum has the glove on top. 15 seconds left on the penalty to Noah Robinson. The Prowlers worked it around, but could not get it through Connor McCullum. Hat-Tricks as well, doing a good job blocking shots and keeping pucks from getting through their goaltender. LaBelle off the face-off, able to fire it all the way down. It looks like the Prowlers will be now 0 for 2 on the power play tonight. Federley works his way back up, has to be careful with Robinson stepping out of the box. Sends a rink-wide feed to Oregon. Off the boards, out of the zone. Robinson. Fed it across towards Hullaby. He couldn't bring it in cleanly, and Cooper sweeps it around to the far side. Millette got it down low, skating around behind his own cage. Millette starts up. Tried to one-hand it along, couldn't do it. This time he goes to Ben Brockway. Gets the red line, fired it off his defense partner, Organ. Frolov trying to take advantage, but he was sent down to the ice. Price. Long lead pass looking for Bussell, goes off the glass, and that's an icing against Port Huron. .332 left to go in period number 1. Lots of time to go in the hockey game, and the Prowlers certainly like to play some more 5-on-5. They are missing one of their top goal scorers in Tucker Scantleberry. Bussell and Van Durken on the faceoff. Vasiliev lined up right behind Gleb Van Durken. They get it to him. Vasiliev unloads, blocked by Bussell. Bedard sent it through. Goes off the back glass. Oregon able to rescue it from danger. DC couldn't move it along for Price. Cross corner dumped by Bedard. Bounces right to Vasiliev. This pass to Van Durken in the skates. Bussell for Price. Sent it in. LaBelle after it. Up the far wall. Van Durken able to move it out. Tyler Fox working right back in. LaBelle took it off of his stick. Simmons Fisher sends it back in. Bedard took a hit from Fox. Fox to the point. Parsons across. Simmons Fisher walks in. He shoots, and a kick save by Connor McCullum. They try and lead it on for Harwell, but Bedard got nothing on the pass. Fox back up top. Parsons, all he could do was get it deep, and LaBelle floats it all the way down. And icing waved off, so Danbury gets a full change. Simmons Fisher turns the corner. Lead pass cut off by Harwell. Federley skates into it. Federley, toe drag, ran into Mo Valley. Puck scooped up by Simmons Fisher. Circles back to the point. Lockhart got it down to the corner. Graham behind the cage. Taking a look out in front. Finds Millette. His shot blocked by Harwell. Johnson got it down low. Graham and Pamaleon tied up. Graham steps out. Centered. Millette. He scores! Big goal for Port Huron, and it comes off the stick of Reggie. Under 2 to play in period 1. The deficit is cut in half. Boy, did they need that. After the start to this game, Prowlers able to push back in the late minutes. And a man we talked about in the pregame show that needed to step up tonight, needed to be a factor, rips it top corner. Reggie Millette has his team high 3rd goal of these playoffs. And that is a huge strike for the roadside. Noah Robinson able to negate the icing here. Brockway trying to dangle through Robinson, who got knocked down. Puck's underneath him. Oregon around behind the net. Still in the Prowler zone. Hullaby able to smack it back deep. Oregon on for Price. Here comes Bussell. Has DC at the red line. He'll just backhand dump it and get a change. Abdella spins back behind his own net as we hit the final minute of play in period 1. This one goes all the way down, and icing called against the Hat-Tricks with 56.7 left to go in the first period. Stick around for the Moses Roses Smoke Break. First intermission report here on the PHP Network. In case you missed it last night, the top plays of the year for the Port Huron Prowlers. Also, the stats from this game so far, and much, much more. So keep it locked in here on the PHP Network after the final buzzer. It's been an interesting first. Special teams have been a huge factor, especially for the hat tricks. But the Prowlers have gotten themselves back within a goal, and they have an offensive zone face-off here. Millette and Newberg to take it. Tied up on the dot, and Gonzalez able to take it. Here's Lockney off the steal, kick save by McCullum, and the rebound just got past Millette. Graham got it back in. Lockhart was holding his face after he threw a check. He goes back to the Prowler bench, and the fans up in the Prowlers section making some noise after that play. Here's Van Durken in the offensive zone. Takes the shot, stopped by Cooper. He juggles and dives out to cover up with 24.3 left to go in period one. And an important face-off now here in Prowler territory as Chris Paul and Prowler assistant coach want to chat with the referee. Instead, they talk to Jamie Bussell, alternate captain. William Lyons, the referee, who you may have seen there on your screen chatting with Bussell. Bussell looks like he'll slide in to take the face-off against Van Durken. Van Durken won it back. They get to Van Durken, and Cooper able to make the save. Simmons Fisher fires his way up. Flip pass. Bussell gloves it down, and he couldn't get a shot away. Comes all the way back out to center. Van Durken behind everybody. He takes a hit from two Prowlers, and now a scrum right in front of the board here on bench. Is everybody coming in to join the party? Parsons and DeCumbis sandwiched Van Durken. There was no arm up in the air initially, but players will be going to the box. As now Fox and I believe that's Frolov tied up. Pardon me, that's Vasiliev tied up with Tyler Fox. Those two are separated. DeCumbis and Woolley are in the sin bins right now. 3.6 seconds up on the big board. We'll figure all of this out and then hopefully get to the first intermission in relatively short order. 2-1 in favor of the Danbury Hat Tricks. It was 2-0 early for Danbury on two power play goals from Johnny Ruiz. But Reggie Millette, a big one in the final 2 minutes of this frame, able to pull the Prowlers within a goal. Van Durken and Parsons were tied up behind the play as the Prowlers went up ice. Hat Tricks cleared the puck, and Van Durken headed after it. Parsons went to finish his check. DeCumbis coming the other direction, also finished his check on Van Durken, and then everything broke loose. Right now on my penalty sheet, all I see is 2 minutes for Vinny DeCumbis and 2 minutes for Connor Woolley. Each 2 for roughing. And if that stands, it seems like it will stay 5-on-5. Actually, no, 4-on-4 as they start to put the penalties up on the big board. And we get set for what's likely the final face-off of this opening 20 minutes. Actually, no, they've taken the penalty off the board, so it will be 5-on-5. See, right now there are 5 hat tricks and 4 Prowlers on the ice, so now I'm confused. Are the hat tricks on a power play here? Danbury seems to be on a power play. There's no third penalty down on my sheet here. I think Danbury is on the power play here. Off the draw, Graham able to control, get it out of the zone, and that will do it for period number 1. Brian Parsons was the one that picked up the extra call as his number is on the board. He got 2 minutes for roughing. So 2 Prowlers and 1 hat trick get 2 minutes apiece for roughing. And Danbury have 1 minute and 56 seconds of power play time when we come back. This was a rough start for the Port Huron Prowlers. Not at all how they drew it up. But they've gotten themselves back within striking distance. They do have to kill off a penalty when we come back for period number 2. Shots on goal in that opening period favoring the hat tricks 16-11 as Port Huron did make a late push. But the penalties, certainly a factor and certainly an issue for the Port Huron Prowlers. And no matter who you want to pin that on, when you're watching at home, it has cost Port Huron. That's the undeniable fact. Once again, coming up in the Moses Rosa Smoke Break first intermission report, take a look at the plays of the year for the Port Huron Prowlers. Top 10 plays from the regular season 2024-25. Also take a look at some stats from this game and much more. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked in here on the PHP Network as we get you ready for period number 2 here from Danbury. Well, Prowlers are celebrating 10 years in Port Huron, and now is your chance to get limited edition 10th anniversary gear at the Prowlers team store. Located on the west end of McMorran Arena at every home game or online anytime at prowlersmerch.com. And you can scan the QR code on your screen now to visit the online shop. Look your POHO best with gear from the Prowlers team store. 2-1 hat tricks certainly could be worse for the Prowlers, but they will have to defend a penalty for most of the first 2 minutes of period 2. But first they'll get to talk about it in the locker rooms. And we will show you the top plays for the Prowlers from the regular season. So don't go anywhere. Much more to get going here on the PHP Network.
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
We're on a mission to feed the future by helping farmers worldwide be more resilient, more productive, more sustainable for generations to come. Corteva Agriscience. Keep growing.
Grab your friends and head to Bella Bola, a local pizza spot located in the heart of downtown Port Huron. Our menu is full of timeless favorites made fresh in our on-site pizza oven. Available for pickup or delivery. Just don't fight over the last slice.
Seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it! I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
At phprowlers.com.
Couldn't get it deep though as Bernays took it. 15 seconds left to go in regulation. Here come the Bobcats, dangling in, saved by Nusiainen, a game saver. And Valtteri Nusiainen makes sure this one gets to overtime as he robs Igor Romano. He works in slowly to that right side again. Federley, back to the forehand, he scores! The Prowlers win it in the shootout. 3-2 your final. The captain gets it done. First victory of the season for the Prowlers. Ram behind the net. Works out. He scores! Matt Graham picks the corner from the goal line. And the Prowlers win it in overtime. Kept it deep only for a moment. Blaisdell now gets it back down low. Pass in front. Corgan stopped by a sprawling Cooper. Chris Corgan coming down the backside. Robbed by Reed Cooper as he dove across. Had to reach back for it in the final set. Mullins to net save. Yoshi the rebound. What a stop on the rebound. Yoshi robs the Dashers there. That was Horn. Prowlers try and work out. It's Lockney. Going across to Millette. Chips it past Blaisdell. Millette's in. He scores! Reggie Millette 43 seconds in as the Prowlers on the board first. And after a chance one direction that Eli Rivers can't convert, Reggie Millette makes good the other way with his 14th of the year. Back in front, Nate Keeley couldn't get to go. Kramer robbed. Oh my, Nusiainen. On his back, reached out the glove, he robbed Kramer. Pitchforks it out of the zone. Kicked off of Lockhart. Brett Lockhart recollects. Nice move around Miettinen. Lockhart in front, and they score! That one caromed home. What a play by Brett Lockhart. Dancing around Miettinen. And that might be Brett Lockhart's goal. That makes it 6-1. Johnson up to Frazee and touched along for Scantleberry. Into offensive territory. Drags it through. Tried to stuff it. And he scores! What a goal by Tucker Scantleberry. Little dangle move, and from the goal line, he beats Colgan, and Tucker Scantleberry has made it 2-0. And he tried to get Federley right off the bench. He had it poked away, but he gets it back. Lockney by himself. Scores! Between his legs, Lucas Lockney. What a stark report here on Lucas Lockney. Put him on the highlight reel.
I'm just checking in, and I have a service animal.
Service animal?
Do you have anything on the ground floor so I can let him out at night?
We're on a mission to feed the future by helping farmers worldwide be more resilient, more productive, more sustainable for generations to come. Corteva Agriscience. Keep growing.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
Back here in Danbury, first intermission rolling on, and the Hat Tricks with a 2-1 lead over the Port Huron Prowlers. Will Wiggleman back here with you on the PHP Network. That was a tough start for Port Huron. I don't know if you could have drawn it up really any worse than getting an emotional leader and a great goal scorer in Tucker Scantleberry kicked out for, and I watched the replay back a few times, something that could easily have just been a 2-minute, if that, as he just got his hands up in the face of Gleb Van Durken, which is something you see after nearly every scrum. But Van Durken went down, that drew the call, and Scantleberry is done for the game. Penalties continued for the Prowlers, and in that first period, the Hat Tricks able to take advantage. Johnny Ruiz with a pair of early power play goals. His first 2 goals of this series. And there it was a 2-0 game, and it looked like the Hat Tricks are going to be able to run the Prowlers out of the building here in Game 3. But Port Huron killed off a penalty a little bit later on. And finally, with under 2 to play, they struck for the first time. And Reggie Millette, someone we mentioned in the pregame show, needed to be a factor in this game, needed to step up. Well, he did, and he ripped a puck home top corner for his 3rd goal of the series. And from there, it made it a 2-1 game. Then another skirmish late in the period. They decided to take 2 Prowlers and 1 Hat Trick out of it, as all 10 players on the ice got involved. But they take both Brian Parsons and Vinny DeCumbis, who threw a hit together, kind of. Parsons was trying to ride Gleb Van Durken into the boards as the puck came towards them. DeCumbis was back-checking the other way towards the puck, and he ran into Van Durken as well. They ended up sandwiching Gleb Van Durken, and the referees decided to take both Parsons and DeCumbis. And they took Connor Woolley, who jumped in to defend Gleb Van Durken after the hit. And as a result, Hat Tricks will be on a power play for 1 minute and 56 seconds when we get started in period number 2. This is, of course, the final game of round 1 of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs, the only game in the FPHL today. So we take a look at our local sports scoreboard. Spoiler alert, there's not much going on around Michigan sports either today. Just the Tigers, and they dropped a 4-3 decision to the Kansas City Royals today. Tarek Skubal went 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, but didn't come away with a decision as Bobby Witt Jr. hit a sacrifice fly to bring in the winning run in the top of the 10th inning. And the Tigers fall to the lowly Kansas City Royals 4-3 in 10 innings. Tigers drop to 13-9 on the season. Royals 9-14 now this year. Again, that is the only out-of-town score I have for you. I'm sorry if anybody's high school might be playing that I may have missed, but that's all I could dig up as far as games that were going on today. Pretty quiet Easter Sunday around the sports world. Of course, the Stanley Cup playoffs are on, but the Detroit Red Wings, unfortunately, did not make the Stanley Cup playoffs this season. We'll take a look at the stats from this game so far. Hat tricks, 2 for 3 on the man advantage, and it certainly could be worse for the Port Huron Prowlers, as Danbury got the 5-minute power play just seconds into the hockey game, and that could have certainly killed the game before it even got started. But Port Huron able to just give up a single goal on that power play. And they got most of the way through it, but then Danbury scored again on a minor penalty later on in that frame. And it was both from Johnny Ruiz, made it 2-0. Well, you see the disparity in the penalty minute totals. Shots on goal are pretty close, but again, the disparity in the penalty minute totals tell a big, big story of tonight's game. Prowlers are very, very confident in their 5-on-5 abilities against this Danbury team. They feel like they can control play against Danbury 5-on-5. Hat tricks have done most of their damage in this series on the power play. You look back to last night, all 3 of their goals against a goaltender were either on the power play or 1 second after a power play expired. And even the empty netter came a few seconds after a hat trick's power play expired. And then here tonight, both goals on the man advantage. And if the Prowlers do lose this series, lose this game and lose the series, penalties are going to be the operative word in the exit meetings, in the Prowlers locker room, and in the autopsy of what went wrong. There's still a chance to turn it all around. We are 90 seconds away from puck drop for the start of period number 2. As the Prowlers and the Hat Tricks get set to hit the ice, we give you tonight's PHP Network trivia question. Want to go back to last season's Commissioner Cup playoffs. We want to know how many winner-take-all games were there in last season's Commissioner's Cup playoffs. So put your guess in the comments section. We will give you the correct answer coming up at the start of period number 3. Reed Cooper is getting his goal crease set down to our left. He was busy in that first period. He made 14 saves on 16 hat tricks shots. Connor McCullum just led Danbury out of the tunnel. He made 10 saves on 11 Prowler shots in that opening 20 minutes. A crucial period number 2 here. But of course, as we've seen, the regular season series and this postseason series between these teams go, it doesn't really matter much until the third, as third periods have been absolutely nuts between these two teams. Comebacks galore. And we'll see if one team can get a comeback here tonight and move on and stun, again, a sparse crowd here in Danbury on an Easter Sunday. Certainly tough to draw during the holiday. Minute 56 seconds of power play time remaining for the Hat Tricks on their 4th man advantage of the game. And we're back underway in the Hungry Howie's second period. Chase Harwell works his way in, wraps it all the way around, comes to LaBelle at the point. Tried to go down to Ruiz, got through him. Hullaby and Price chasing after it. Price gets there first. He's smushed along the wall. Lockhart able to fire it off the near side boards and out of the zone. Jacob Ratcliffe spun it on for Harwell. Hat tricks began to change. Harwell lost the handle and Federley able to clear down. Matt Graham staring down McCullum, who rips it up in Ratcliffe's direction. Icing waved off here as it got through Jacob Ratcliffe. Alex jumps in, sends it 200 feet. LaBelle around to the far side. Harwell takes a look over his shoulder as he gets to it. LaBelle starts his way up. To the right wing side, Pamaleon working on Johnson on the backhand. Couldn't get it right through the slot. Gonzalez keeps in the clearing attempt from Ben Brockway. Frolov back around behind the net. Pamaleon centering feed. Van Durkin just couldn't settle it down as it ramped off a Prowler stick. Gonzalez to Vasiliev. Pamaleon one time, a rebound, they score. And it's Gleb Van Durkin. Had a kick out to him. Prowlers having a disagreement about that goal. I believe the net may have been off, or maybe goalie interference. They are talking about it. The referees are in front of the scorer's table. But as for the moment, it is a 3-1 lead for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, but Austin Federley having a conversation with the referee. It's William Lyons, the referee, over at the scorer's table. Chris Poland having a conversation with the rest of the officiating crew over by the Prowler bench. We saw last night a goal for the Prowlers taken back for goaltender interference. That became a big turning point in the game. Jamie Bussell giving Chris Poland the word on the bench. Prowlers deciding if they want to challenge this call. That is currently the delay. The conversation continuing here over on the Port Huron bench. That net behind Reed Cooper is still awry. It's not completely on, I don't believe, as it's supposed to be. That net looks like it's a little bit off, unless I'm a little crooked up here. That's certainly possible. Right now, it's Van Durkin from Vasiliev and Pamaleon. As the conversation continues over by the Prowler bench between Chris Poland and the officiating staff. And now the word comes over. Might we get a review here, but the Prowlers would have to challenge it. The referees will not challenge it. And the referees will not review it. This will have to be a challenge from the Port Huron bench, and indeed that is the case. Prowlers are challenging the play on the ice. And this could be important. I talked with Chris Poland before the game, part of our pregame interview. I asked him, how do you not get discouraged when the last 3 playoff games for the Prowlers, Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3 against Carolina last season, you had 3 of these calls that went against you, right, wrong, or otherwise. They went against you on plays that looked like they maybe should have been goals or maybe not should have been goals, that there was controversy and discussion about. Again, 1 in each of those 3 games. This one a quick one, and it's waved off. No goal. It stays 2-1. And I guess we're even here. Prowlers have a goal called off last night. Hat-Tricks have one called off tonight. Everybody all even. Hat-Trick still on the power play. Brian Parsons has to go back to the penalty box. And Chris Poland may have just made the call of the year on his bench. It stays 2-1. And the Prowlers get one to go their way. Remember this moment if the Prowlers end up winning this game. First, they'll have to tie it. and get the lead. And before they can even think about getting there, they'll have to finish off killing this penalty. 24 seconds left on it as it's clapped around. Lockhart keeps it moving up the near side wall. Vasiliev kept it in at the point. Johnson trying to get to it along with Pamaleon. Graham throws his body into the pile. Now Gonzalez down to Pamaleon, center bend, Durkin. Vasiliev takes the shot, and Cooper has it. He'll hang on just as the penalty expires. So the Prowlers survive, thanks in part to the overturned goal call. Port Huron with a defensive zone face-off, but they're back to even strength. A minute 56 into period 2. I will have to look back at the play. Try and do that during the TV timeout that's upcoming. Maybe I can get you a little bit more of my analysis on it, because I saw the puck pop out as Oregon lost the handle. Robinson couldn't sweep it out in front as Oregon got back to defend. Hatrick still working off the turnover. Hullaby taken in by Fox. Oregon puts Robinson into the wall. Brockway throws his body into the pile. They continue to kick it along, and it's pushed out to the near side. DC sweeps it over to Fox. 3 hat tricks back as Fox gets the red line, sends it in. Hullaby fanned on the pass across to LaBelle. Now he gets it there. Big Josh LaBelle on for Harwell. Has Newberg going to the net. Harwell on goal, kicked out by Cooper. And now Millette up for Lockney off his stick. Gonzalez goes off the glass, settled down by Johnson. Up to Millette, but Lockney was still in the offensive zone. Prowlers would have had numbers, but Lucas Lockney still deep in hat-trick's territory here. Face off just outside of hat-trick's territory as Parsons takes it at the red line, sends it off the glass all the way around. Held up along the boards. Here's Federle behind the net. Up high it goes. D-to-D pass. Simmons Fisher on his backhand sent it down deep. Puck's loose right in front of McCullum, and he's able to hang on to an in-tight shot. We will get a whistle and a face-off here. Offensive zone draw for the Prowlers. They send out their top line. Port Huron still searching for its first shot of the period. Lockhart sends it through, deflected by Graham, hit the post, and they score! Matt Graham pokes it home, and just minutes after an overturned goal, Port Huron has tied it. A 2-goal swing here in the last minute and a half. And Matt Graham, who may have been robbed of a goal last night, as Austin Federle got credit for one that looked like Graham may have chipped in. He definitely gets that one, and that will be his first of the playoffs. We're all level. Prowlers able to erase the nightmare start to this game. As DC centers one-timer, they score! Tyler Fox, just like that, 13 seconds later, has put the Prowlers in front. Tyler Fox knows a thing or two about scoring big goals. He scored in the NCAA tournament this past season. And now, off the feed from Stefan DC, who's back in the lineup. This game has been flipped on its head. silence, stunned silence here at Danbury Ice Arena. They try and get back in it to the fans as Simmons Fisher works it up the boards. Robinson in the corner, taken in by Simmons Fisher. Federley moved around to the far side. Bedard right on net, blocked by Parsons, and he'll start the rush. At the red line, chips it in. Parsons burst on after it. Couldn't get it from Bedard. This one bounced out of the zone. Off the boards, Graham centered, but yeah, tried to chop at it. That didn't work. Johnson up to Millette. Makes a move at the red line, and he sends it all the way around. Got through Pamaleon and Graham before it's tapped out of the zone. Lockney held up by Pamaleon. Sent out in front, taken away by Harwell. Chase Harwell works up. Now Johnson takes over. Drop it off for Millette. Harwell in on him, so's the referee. Now a two-a-side scrum. Lockhart looking and digging. And he's able to work it over to the far side. Gonzalez in tight, centering feed. Only found Lockney, who chips it around his man. Lockney has Fox with him. Patrick's hustling back. Lockney a shot, gloved and held by Connor McCullum. It feels like we've played an entire period, but just 5:21 off the clock. A goal overturned, and then two in the back of the net for Port Huron. Prowlers with their first lead of the night. You are watching the Commissioner's Cup playoffs presented by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey.
Welcome to McDonald's. How may I help you?
Can I please get a big...
What I need from you is a chicken Big Mac.
A chicken Big Mac? That's not a Big Mac.
Actually, it is.
It's not
a Big Mac.
Chicken Big Mac?
Chicken bag, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, and pickles on a sesame seed bun. Enjoy.
The chicken Big Mac.
It's not a Big Mac.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Live where you work. Work where you play. Is your work commute making you miserable? Quit the commute. Explore hot jobs in St. Clair County paying $40,000 to $100,000 or more. Visit stclairhotjobs.com. Spend more time doing what you love. If you're not currently living in St. Clair County, or you know friends or family that moved away but are ready to come back, then visit stclairhotjobs.com to find a new job and make the move.
Back here in Danbury. What a start to this second period. Hat-tricks looked like they made it 3-1. Prowlers challenged. The goal is overturned. Port Huron finished killing off the penalty, and then they get 2 goals in a matter of 13 seconds from Matt Graham and Tyler Fox. And now they have the lead. And the offensive zone face-off. But Price had it knocked off his stick. Good play by Oregon to keep it deep. Actually, officially goes down as 2 goals in 12 seconds, in case that matters too much. Brockway on net. That one didn't get all the way through as it hit some traffic. Centering feed, DC! Stopped by McCullum as he had the pad stretched out on the post. Brockway back on net. That changed direction and just went wide. McCullum may have gotten a piece. Connor Woolley able to cut off a centering feed. And he gets it to Vasiliev on the left wing side. Price comes swooping in on Vasiliev. Fox after the loose puck. Throws the body into Bedard. Oregon fires it all the way around this way. Vasiliev and Brockway were tangled up behind the play. We continue. LaBelle streaks around behind his own net. Up to Van Durken. That didn't work. Van Durken didn't get a touch. And icing called against the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Offensive zone face-off coming here for Port Huron. Fans trying to get back into it as they see their team now trailing by a goal in this decisive game 3. Off the faceoff, Millette turns and fires and shot it wide. Lockhart couldn't keep it in as it bounced over his stick. Johnson backs him up. Here comes Robinson with a long-range try off the stick and up out of play over the protective netting behind the glass. 13:24 still left to go in what's been an absolutely bonkers second period. Josh Newberg and Jamie Bussell in on this face-off. Bussell won it back. Parsons in the corner, couldn't make a play on it. LaBelle got it back down deep. Comes all the way around, but Dard couldn't push it on goal. Comes out of the zone. LaBelle chased by DeCumbus. Reverse, and Bussell the first one on it. Bedard back there for Danbury. Robinson up to Hullaby. 2 Prowlers back. Hullaby trying to move around Parsons. Sent it in front. That went off the side of the cage as Newberg got a touch. Pamaleon pinched in to keep it alive for a moment. Bussell able to toss it out. Bedard in Robinson's direction, kicked off his skate right to Jacob Ratcliffe. Parsons. Reverse to Simmons Fisher, and he starts to move up. Indirect feed finds Fox. Fox, nice toe drag, gets in. Fox takes a look towards Price, had it knocked away. Fox back on it. Turnaround try off the back wall. Lockhart hustles in and didn't get much on it as he tried to clap at that loose puck. They let it on to Harwell, who dove and couldn't get to it. Fox couldn't backhand it out. Ruiz a shot over top of the cage. DC able to touch it out. Here comes Price one-on-one against Pamaleon. And Pamaleon with a good stick, able to keep Price from dangling through. And now Pamaleon and DC get tangled up. They both go down to the ice. Delayed offsides here against the Prowlers as DC has to exit the offensive zone. Mo Valley hanging out with it behind his own net. Looked like DC and Pamaleon accidentally grabbed each other's sticks and they had to trade before DC could get back to his bench. Meanwhile, here comes Danbury now. Comes off the corner boards. Brockway able to chop it out of danger. Up comes Graham. Indirect feed looking for Lockney on the area pass, but Van Durken came back for it. Poked ahead, Vasiliev. Van Durken fakes the drive, goes around Oregon. Vasiliev all the way around, centering pass. Vasiliev didn't get much on it. Blocked by traffic. Van Durken stopped by Cooper. Cooper has it in the glove. Van Durken is furious that the whistle blew. It didn't matter anyway as Reed Cooper made the save. And now Danbury Ice Arena playing the Prowlers goal song as the fans try and pump it up. Matt Graham and Alexander Vasiliev having an extended conversation. Although it's more Graham talking and Vasiliev listening. And now Graham and Frolov visor to visor. Face-off will be to Cooper's right. After the play was blown dead, again, it didn't matter as Cooper caught the shot from Van Durken anyway. Graham and Newberg in on this face-off. All 5 Prowlers on the ice. We're back trying to block shots on that last sequence as Cooper had to make a quick save off the face-off. Graham comes in and runs over Newberg. Players battling as Oregon goes across the ice to Brockway. Lockney had his stick knocked out of his hands, was looking for a call, but he goes to the bench instead. Abdullah back for the puck behind his own net. Fired all the way up, right into Parsons, who is tied up with Hullaby. Parsons skates in on the left wing, centered it across, and it didn't get all the way to Bussell. Simmons Fisher looking for Bussell, pass was just behind him. Bussell up top, swung it deep. Federley kept it moving around. Gonzalez gets to it, And up to Hullaby. Hullaby tried to chip it in, knocked down by Parsons. Here's DeCumbus hustling to it. Has Federley going to the net, and Gonzalez able to block that away. Simmons Fisher back for it in his own end just before the icing line. Halfway through this hockey game, Prowlers with a 3-2 lead. Bedard sends it all the way around. Simmons Fisher and Harwell come together. Pops out. Ruiz, a shot just went wide. Cooper made the save. They dig away and they blow it dead. And now Parsons has his helmet ripped off. Puck did look like it may have been loose, but the referee lost sight of it. We've seen that on both sides, certainly in this series. And now it's the Hat-Trick's turn to have complaints. We will take a timeout. 3-2 Prowlers here in Danbury, but the excitement far from over. This is the Commissioner's Cup playoffs, presented by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey.
See that? That's what 100% mozzarella looks like. What dough made daily looks like. What fresh ingredients and 8 irresistible flavored crusts on pizza cooked to perfection looks like. It's so much flavor, we don't even know if it's legal to have this much flavor. Now you can get that famous flavor for only $8.99. Wait, a large one-topping pizza for $8.99? That's a deal. It's a steal. No, it's a crime. Just $8.99 for a one-topping pizza full of our famous flavor. Now that's how we do a deal.
Hungry?
Howie's!
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rearview mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
Back here in Danbury, 9:43 left to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. Winner take all, game number 3. And it's the Prowlers who have turned this game on its head in this second period with a 3-2 lead. LaBelle off the near side corner boards. Johnny Ruiz, who has both goals for Danbury. Ratcliffe up top, Bedard sent it through, pinballed around off a skate, and Cooper able to push it over towards the corner. Millette tips it by Bedard. Here he comes, has Lockney with him. Millette floats it through. Lockney knocked down by McCullum. Shoots in a drive, and McCullum has that one. As Connor McCullum stared down Lucas Lockney and was able to get a piece of it with the glove to knock it down, and then he reset. Make a good stop on Alex Johnson. .9:18 left to go here in period 2. Shots 8-6 Danbury. Actually make it 8-8 now after that sequence. 24-19 for the game in favor of the Danbury Hat-Tricks as Fox wins the face-off back clean. Oregon able to get it back deep. Prowlers touch up. Mo Valley skating up with it. DC runs him into the boards. And then Fox puts him on the seat of his pants. Oregon, rink wide feed. DC able to send it in. Off the glass, out of the zone. DC gloved it down, but Van Durken has it on his stick. 3 Prowlers surround Gleb Van Durken as his shot goes off the backboards. And Cooper elects to cover up. Fox and Van Durken having a chat here. Everybody will be separated here, heading back to their respective benches ahead of a face-off deep in Prowler territory. The barking has not stopped. But after a penalty-filled first period, we have not yet gotten a call here in period 2. Keyword is yet. Parsons rims it all the way around. DeCumbus and Movali get there together. DeCumbus just bats it out, sent right back in by Pamaleon. Simmons Fisher hit the referee. Van Durken in front looking for Vasiliev, and Simmons Fisher got his stick in the lane. That could have been dangerous. Bussell curl and drag just missed the top corner over McCullum's glove. DeCumbus able to get it back deep. Pamaleon, the Hawaiian, up to Ben Durkin. Off the boards all the way down and from his own side of center. So that is icing against the hat tricks. And Port Huron will get an offensive zone face-off and possibly a tired group of Danbury hat tricks left out there. You see Ben Durkin was doubled over. Graham and Ben Durkin here on this face-off. Moved over to the near side, Woolley. Able to send a cross-corner dump in. Johnson, quick up to Lockney, who just tips it in. Abdella, reverse for Gonzalez. Hard off the boards, Johnson steps up, put it back in deep. Abdella this time, reverse back in behind his own net, now he steps out. As Newberg on his left, gives it there. Rimmed all the way around, got through Gonzalez. Lockhart hustling back up to that puck. Tipped in by Lockney. Fox and Abdella after it. Those two come together. Puck squirts out for Gonzalez. Glove down by Oregon at center. Hullaby tried to get it through for Harwell. Price on it now. Bobby Price with a head of steam. 2-on-1. Price the shot. He scores! 4 unanswered for the Prowlers, and it's Bobby Price making it 4-2. Couple players collided in the neutral zone, and that gave Price some extra room. He goes top corner on Connor McCullum for his second goal of these playoffs. Trying guys, big in game 1, and they're showing up again here in game 3. Of course, Price, the one who started the comeback for the Prowlers in game number 1 with his shorthanded goal. Tonight, Tyler Fox gave the Prowlers the lead, and now Price makes it 2. Simmons Fisher looking for more. His pass didn't get all the way to Vinny DeCumbus. Ruiz off the corner boards. Bussell swoops in behind the net. Spins away from Harwell. Bussell up the wall to DeCumbus. Off the boards, out of the zone. This one will slide all the way down, and that will be an icing against the Prowlers. No lead is safe, certainly, in this rivalry this season. The Prowlers cannot rest on their laurels at all, despite having a 2-goal advantage. Going to need to finish out this period and then buckle up for a huge third, but still 6.5 to go here in period 2. Off the face-off, Bedard on goal, change direction, and Cooper able to keep it in front of him and cover up.
Let's hear it. Make some noise.
Reed Cooper comes up with a big stop there. Prowlers switching things up for this next defensive draw. Graham and Ruiz. Ruiz won it to the wall. Ratcliffe tied up with Lockhart. Lockney comes in for the puck along with Harwell. Ruiz tried a one-timer. Millette was right in his grill. Went up out of play off of Reggie Millette's stick. Graham and Ruiz again. Top line against top line. Ruiz wins it back clean this time. Bedard on net, blocked by Matt Graham down on a knee. Here comes Millette with Johnson hustling to join him. Millette fires it all the way around. Lockney couldn't get it back deep. Johnson had it chipped by him. Here's Ruiz working on Lockhart. Ruiz couldn't make a play on the puck. Good job by Brett Lockhart. Graham got a touch on that one, but from his own side of center. So icing called against the Prowlers, and now a chance for the hat tricks against a tired group of Port Huron players. I believe the clock on the big board may have not started moving. There's a significant difference. Clock on the big board says 6:15. Clock on both my broadcast and the Danbury broadcast say 5:50. We may just be getting 25 more seconds of hockey in this second period. Wonder if that will come into play. Van Durkin tried to get it over to Frolaw. That didn't work. We'll hold my clock until we get down to 5:50 at the 6-minute mark right now. Vasiliev moves back in. Tried to go to LaBelle. Puck came to the middle of the ice. Lockney got it out to the wing for Fox. Back to Lockney. He's able to chop it into hat tricks territory, and Port Huron can finish up a change here. Van Durkin works it in. Off for Vasiliev, but he pulled his stick outside of the zone, so offside is the call. Bobby Price, unassisted, is currently how they're listing the goal. Made it 4-2 Prowlers. Bussell and Newberg on this draw. And Hullaby able to turn it deep. Cooper hands it off for Simmons. Fisher claps it around the wall. Tied up. Newberg on goal. And Cooper paying attention. Able to glove it down and hang on. Three goals in this second period for the Port Huron Prowlers. They have turned what was, again, a disastrous nightmare scenario start to this hockey game into now a 2-goal lead. Off the boards, Pamaleon able to one-hand it deep. Federley couldn't toss it out. Federley still digging away, and now he skates with it. Federley gets the red line, sends it in, heads off for a change. Mavalli back behind his own net. Watched by the new forward line for the Prowlers. Pamaleon, rink-wide feed. Robinson off the near side corner boards. Dylan Hullaby tried to get back deep, but Graham tossed it out of the zone. Robinson gets it down and around. Graham skates into it. Up towards Millette, under 5 to go here in period 2. Ruiz back skates, couldn't get his pass to the middle. Graham off the glass out of the zone. Abdella couldn't flag it down. Gonzalez gets there just ahead of Reggie Millette. Now Harwell looking up towards Ruiz, tipped through Johnson. Cooper out to play it, sweeps it to the boards. Ruiz back in front, rebound, they score! Jacob Ratcliffe right on the spot has pulled the hat tricks back within a goal. Cooper went out to play it away from Ruiz, who just turned it back on net, and the rebound came right to Jacob Ratcliffe, who gets his second of this series and some life for the hat tricks here in the end of near the end of period 2. Back to a 1-goal game here. Josh LaBelle looking to work up. Hat tricks trying to get another before the end of this frame. Johnson works it up towards Fox. Throws a hit on Bedard. TC able to get it deep. McCullum rims it around. LaBelle kept it moving. Taken away. Fox. Johnson back to Fox, and he couldn't bring it in clean. They try and send Woolley in on a breakaway. Couldn't do it. And Cooper chooses to clamp the glove on top and cover up. 3:47 left to go in period 2. It's back to a 1-goal game here in Danbury. You are watching the Commissioner's Cup playoffs, presented by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey.
Explore the 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron. That is Michigan's Thumb Coast. Discover charming coastal towns. serene beaches, and endless outdoor adventures. Stay at cozy hotels, paddle through pristine blue waters, and hit the fairways along breathtaking views. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Grab your friends and head to Bella Bola, a local pizza spot located in the heart of downtown Port Huron. Our menu is full of timeless favorites made fresh in our on-site pizza oven. Available for pickup or delivery. Just don't fight over the last slice.
Back here in Danbury, under 4 to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. Jacob Ratcliffe has brought it back to a one-goal game for the Danbury Hat Tricks. And now with a defensive zone faceoff, Prowlers hoping to get to the second intermission, up a goal at least. Van Durken and Fox in on the draw. Fox won it back clean. Lockhart hustles to it, gets it around to DC. DC try to move it through for Price, who's got it. Price sends it deep. LaBelle couldn't send it around as it was blocked up by Fox. Lockney fresh off the bench, trying to give LaBelle some trouble. Simmons Fisher steps up at the blue line, gets it deep again. LaBelle decides to try the far side this time, but bounces up on Bedard. Sent in front, and Lockney couldn't get a good stick on it. That puck was rolling and bouncing. LaBelle reversed for Van Durken. Long lead pass, Vasiliev, tap back, Woolley. Woolley dances to the slot, gave it a cross, and Bedard just had it roll off his stick as he tried to get it to a shooting position. Icing waved off. Leon let it all the way out for Hullaby. Robinson got it in deep. Simmons Fisher. Now to Cumbus. Bounced it up. Leon throws on the brakes. Tried a shot that went up off a stick over top of the net. Up the wall. Robinson keeps it in. Parsons trying to settle it down. This puck bouncing and hopping all kinds of ways this past minute or so. Leon able to track it down, rips it off the glass. Simmons Fisher back up towards Decumbus. Loose puck. Hullaby for Robinson. Robinson skates up, had his pocket picked. Simmons Fisher poked it around for Fox. Has teammates moving up ice. Fox to Brockway. Then Brockway, the defenseman, works in his long-range shot. Swallowed up by Connor McCullum.
Fans with the hat-trick's third goal. That means a short stack of pancakes.
Under 2 to go in period 2. It's been an exciting one, and we will talk all about it on the Moses Roses Smoke Break second intermission report right here on the PHP Network. We'll break down the game, we'll break down the stats, and we'll tell you everything you need to know. We buckle up for what will be a wild third period. You won't want to miss a moment. Keep it locked in here on the PHP Network. Off this face-off, Price couldn't get a shot away as he jumped in front. Loose puck behind the net, Gonzalez able to shovel it to Harwell. Gonzalez back to Harwell. He looks up ice. Harwell slowly to the red line. His dump attempt hit Price. Organ wrapped around to the far side. DC comes back for it. Tried to send Organ moving. Harwell able to stop up the clearing attempt. Here's Ruiz in tight, and his sharp angle shot stopped by Reed Cooper. Prowlers couldn't clear the zone there, and Johnny Ruiz got a good chance. He had Jacob Ratcliffe on the other side, who certainly would have presented a problem for the Port Huron defense. Face off between Graham and Ruiz here. Abdella able to swing it around for Harwell. Centering feet, Ratcliffe stopped by Cooper. And then as players went digging away with the whistles blowing, everybody gets together. That was a dangerous play as Ratcliffe was looking for his second of the period. Ruiz and Graham again. Tied up, Johnson trying to muscle away from Harwell. Harwell takes the puck, but they're still tied up. Johnson back to his skates, able to kick it up to his stick. Here's Millette in the final minute, trying to send it through for Price, who hunts it down. Millette goes on the brakes, goes down low. Fox tried to center. That went off a stick. Fox again, working on Harwell. Those two tie up in the corner. Price and Gonzalez come in to dig. DC and Abdella watching the pile. We tick down to 32 seconds left. Puck still underneath those four. Finally, it's rimmed up top. Parson sends it through, and it didn't get all the way to McCullum. Ratcliffe at the red line. He just has to fire it around. Ruiz and Organ get there together, and they cancel out. Fox with 10. Off the boards, out of the zone. Got through Robinson. Graham fired a pass across. That was cut off. Bedard back in. His shot blocked. The follow-up try off of Cooper's glove. And that will do it. For a wild second period, Prowlers get 3, Hat-Tricks get 1, and it's a 4-3 advantage for Port Huron as we get set for period number 3. Shots on goal in that second period favored the Hat-Tricks 13-11. We had a goal called off and then a couple in quick succession from the Prowlers, and then we had to play the rest of the period. What a wild frame it was. And we sit 4-3, staring down the final period of regulation in this series deciding Game 3 between the Prowlers and the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Winner moves on to face the Binghamton Black Bears. The loser, their season is over. Once again, coming up on the Moses Roses Smoke Break second intermission report, we will chat about this game so far, everything that's going on. It's been interesting. It was an absolutely wild second period, and we will try and recap that as best we can. We'll also take a look at the stats from this one as well, break down those numbers. And how about this stat for you? 0 penalty minutes in that second period. Well, there's your stat of the night, I guess. Prowlers and Hat-Tricks are in the locker rooms getting set for the start of period number 3 with their seasons on the line. We will take a timeout here on the PHP Network, and when we come back, we will try and make sense of what we've just saw and what we have seen so far tonight. So keep it locked in here for the rest of this one.
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
We're on a mission to feed the future by helping farmers worldwide be more resilient, more productive, more sustainable for generations to come. Corteva Agriscience. Keep growing.
Grab your friends and head to Bella Bola, a local pizza spot located in the heart of downtown Port Huron. Our menu is full of timeless favorites made fresh in our on-site pizza oven. Available for pickup or delivery. Just don't fight over the last slice.
Let's go! They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should have just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
They're cleaning up the chuck of pucks here at Danbury Ice Arena. Prowlers with a 4-3 lead on the Hat Tricks ahead of the final period of regulation for one of these two teams this season. Will it be the final period of this hockey game? Honestly, doubtful. Both of these teams have history coming back in third periods against each other, especially in this building this season. All three games that were played in this building between these two teams this year went beyond regulation, at least in the regular season. All three went beyond regulation, and all three featured a third period comeback. Will we get another one here tonight, or can the Prowlers hold on and win their first playoff series in 7 years? 2018 the last time Prowlers advanced in the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. Back then, it was just a 4-team playoff, and the first round was the semifinals. Tonight, if they advance, well, they would be advancing to the semifinals. So more games to play to get to the Commissioner's Cup than there used to be, but the stakes still high here in this one. What a wild second period we were treated to. And again, I've said it a few times tonight, a disastrous start for the Port Huron Prowlers. Probably could have gone a little bit worse, but it's tough to imagine the start going worse than it actually did. They lose Tucker Scantleberry to what is now a 5-minute match penalty for cross-checking. So not a 10-minute, it's a 5-minute match penalty. And that may be reviewed by the Director of Player Safety if it comes to that, and if the Prowlers advance. But Hat Tricks get one on that power play. And credit to the Prowlers penalty kill for keeping it at just a goal against on that power play. But Johnny Ruiz got that one, and then he would score on a minor penalty that the Prowlers took later in the frame. And Port Huron creating a parade to the penalty box and a parade of issues for themselves early on in the game. They recovered, though, and a big, big goal in the final 2 minutes of that opening period from Reggie Millette made it a 2-1 game, and that is where they stood heading into period 2. And then the second period action happened, and that was madness. Hat-Tricks had a power play to begin period 2 that rolled over from the end of the first, and it looked like they scored. Gleb Van Durken put home a rebound. Prowlers challenged, and they won the challenge. So the goal was overturned, and it was still a 2-1 game instead of being 3-1. And I want to look back and see if I can really tell if there was significant contact with Reed Cooper. I'm looking back on our stream right now, and it looked like there was contact, at least enough, between Cooper and whoever that was standing in front of the net. The referees called that one off. Second goal in this series called off. Last night the Prowlers had one called off. Tonight it's the Hat-Tricks. Port Huron took advantage. After finishing off, killing the penalty, Matt Graham poked home a goal that he got the deflection. McCullum made the save, and Graham one-hand poke at the puck sent it sliding across the goal line, off the post, and barely over, but it counted. And that tied things up at 2, and then 12 seconds later, Stephen Deasy, welcome back to the lineup. He centers a pass for Tyler Fox, who gets his first of the playoffs. And a huge goal for the Prowlers there. They take a 3-2 lead. Later in the frame, Bobby Price picks the corner on a rush. And the Trine guys, huge in that period. Tim Organ had an assist on the Fox goal. Of course, Fox and Price finding the back of the net each. Hat-Tricks would strike back, though, as Johnny Ruiz sent the puck in, headed after it, and Cooper played it off to the boards. As he was retreating back to his net, Ruiz sent it right back on goal, and off of Cooper right to Jacob Ratcliffe on the backside. Ratcliffe able to put it home and make it a 4-3 game, give the Hat-Tricks some life. And that is where we stand heading into period 3, the final 20 minutes of at the stats from this game so far. And with the redesignation of the Scantlebury penalty, the Prowlers now just with 15 penalty minutes in this game to the Hat-Tricks 8. But again, the special teams is still the difference right now. Hat-Tricks with 2 power play goals. If you're talking about 5-on-5, Prowlers are leading 4-1, but you have to play the special teams. It's hugely important, and it can certainly come back to bite Port Huron in this series. But they have the lead right now, and they are in the driver's seat heading into period number 3. Shots through 40 minutes favoring the Hat-Tricks 29-22. Prowlers had the chance in their pockets. Can they pull it home? Can they bring it home? For the first time in 7 years, can the Port Huron Prowlers advance in the Commissioner's Cup playoffs? We'll answer that question coming up in just about 12 minutes from now when we drop the puck on period number 3. But when we come back, much more to come here on the PHP Network.
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
We're on a mission to feed the future by helping farmers worldwide be more resilient, more productive, more sustainable for generations to come. Corteva Agriscience. Keep growing.
Grab your friends and head to Bella Bola, a local pizza spot located in the heart of downtown Port Huron. Our menu is full of timeless favorites made fresh in our on-site pizza oven. Available for pickup or delivery. Just don't fight over the last slice.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it! I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
Do or die, still the stakes for both of these two teams as we get set for period number 3 coming up in just a few minutes from now. But before we get there, take a quick look at the local sports scoreboard, just one game on it, as Kansas City Royals took down the Detroit Tigers 4-3 in 10 innings. Bobby Witt Jr. hit a sacrifice fly that brought home Drew Waters in the top of the 10th and gave the Royals the win. So the Tigers have to settle for taking 3 out of 4 from Kansas City in their 4-game home set. Next up for the Tigers, as part of a 10-game homestand, they will take on the San Diego Padres for the next 3, and then the Baltimore Orioles for 3 after that. And then they'll hit the road for the next 10 going into May. But the Tigers fall tonight to 13-9 on the year on this Easter Sunday. And the Tigers still leading, though, the Central Division 13-9. The Guardians half a game back after they took down the Pirates 5-4 in 10 innings this afternoon. Of course, here back to hockey. It is a 4-3 lead for the Port Huron Prowlers over the Danbury Hat Tricks. And we will have third period action coming up for you in just a few moments. Once again, winner gets to hang out with the Binghamton Black Bears this upcoming weekend and try and dethrone the defending champs. The loser sees its season come to a close. Both of these teams had great regular seasons. Hat Tricks with 102 points, Prowlers with 95. But on the road, Port Huron struggled winning just 10 of 16 road games, true road games. They did win 2 neutral site games in Topeka. As far as true road games in hostile environments, Prowlers just went 10, and 6. But they will need to win one here on the road. They have the 4-3 lead heading into the third. And we will have third period action when we come back right here on the PHP Network.
Hi, welcome.
I'm just checking in, and I have a service animal.
Service animal?
Do you have anything on the ground floor so I can let him out at night?
We're on a mission to feed the future by helping farmers worldwide be more resilient, more productive, more sustainable for generations to come. Corteva Agriscience. Keep growing.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
Back here in Danbury, third period, just moments away between the Prowlers and the Danbury Hat Tricks. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Nervous energy from the fans here that were able to make the trip out on Easter Sunday. Sparse crowd, but still one that's been into the game for much of the way, as their team went from up 2 to down 2 and now trailing by 1. And just minutes from now, we will see these two teams hit the ice for the final period of regulation in this Commissioner's Cup playoffs first round. Will it be the final period of play in the first round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs? That is the big question. It's certainly possible we see overtime. I don't know if the Hearts in Port Huron can take another overtime in an elimination game. But we'll see if the Prowlers can hang on and get it done in regulation, as both teams are, again, minutes away from hitting the ice here at Danbury Ice Arena. In case you're just coming back to the stream and missed the stats, here's what things look like through 40 minutes of play. And again, they changed Tucker Scantleberry's penalty. It was listed originally on the sheet as a misconduct, a game misconduct, but instead it was a match penalty. So instead of it being 10, it's now 5, and that's why the Prowlers have just 15 minutes up there. They had both the match penalty and the 10 minutes for the game misconduct on there. They just deleted the game misconduct line, and that's why the Prowlers have just 15 minutes of penalty minutes instead of the 25 that they had at the end of the first. But no penalties came in that second period as teams settled down a little bit and the referees let them play a little bit more. We'll see if that continues here in the third, as Port Huron takes the ice, soon to be followed by Danbury. Season on the line for both of these two teams. And we get to our PHP Network trivia question. We want to know, how many winner-take-all games were there in last season's Commissioner's Cup playoffs? Your correct answer is 3. And both of these two teams participated in best of 3 series that went the distance last season, as the Prowlers fell on the road in Carolina in round 1. Hat Tricks fell on the road in Motor City in round number 1. And the only other game 3 was the second round. Carolina took down Columbus. Those two teams will meet for a 3rd straight season in round 2 this upcoming weekend. Both of the game 3s involving the Thunderbirds, by the way, were won by Carolina in overtime. There's just a little fun fact. Again, the Birds able to sweep this time as they took down the Blue Ridge Bobcats in round number 1. And again, they will get the Columbus River Dragons for a 3rd straight playoffs. Reed Cooper in the goal crease down to our right. He has made 26 saves on 29 hat-trick shots. That was his stat line through 60 minutes on Friday night in the Game 1 win for the Prowlers. Connor McCullum in the goal crease down to our left, 18 saves on 22 Prowler shots. Van Durken and Graham see the puck drop between them, and we are underway in period 3. Lucas Lockney turns up on the backhand, able to get it deep. He hit the post early in the 3rd last night when it was still a 2-2 game. Vasiliev had it poked away by Lockney, got it back and got it up to Van Durken. Floated across, Frolov tried to send Gonzalez in, looking to split the D, and they couldn't connect on the pass. Van Durken in front, and Vasiliev had it on his backhand and couldn't bring it in as it exploded off his stick. Graham able to poke it out of the zone. Prowlers get most of a change going here. Abdella up to Frolov, and now Vasiliev towards Ruiz, who was hustling towards the net. That didn't work. As Oregon got his stick in the way. Here is Oregon, loving that dump attempt down. On for DC. Had his stick lifted from behind by Ruiz. DC still chugging ahead. And Price able to dump it in. Ruiz, lead pass, kicked by Ratcliffe. And now it's Oregon looking to turn the other way. Rink wide feed has Fox with some space. DZ joining him. Fox to the net, got all the way through, and he didn't hit anything. Ruiz all the way across to Harwell. Watched by Federley. Harwell turns the corner. Tried to get it on net, and Cooper able to stick that one aside. Gabella on goal, sent it all the way through. Bedard follows it up. Shot blocked right in front, and Harwell stoned on the doorstep by Reed Cooper. This one goes all the way down, but no icing as McCullum came out to play it. DeCumbus certainly forced Connor McCullum's hand there. He may have won the race for icing if McCullum didn't come out. McCullum hands off for LaBelle. Off the boards, blocked down by Millette. Simmons Fisher is going to the penalty box for a high stick as Dylan Hullaby is down on the ice. And Hullaby picking up something off the ice, maybe one of his teeth. And a huge first penalty of this 3rd period. Hat Tricks will go to their 5th power play of the game. Right now it's just being listed as a 2-minute minor on my sheet. Nothing put up on the board just yet. And it's 4 actually. 4 minutes put up on the board here. A 4-minute double minor to Braden Simmons Fisher. And the Prowlers PK has its work cut out. There's Ratcliffe to LaBelle, quickly across looking for Ruiz, bounced away. Ratcliffe, Ruiz, down low Harwell. Ruiz again, steps to the middle, his shot blocked, and Graham able to send it all the way down. 25 seconds gone off the double minor to Braden Simmons Fisher as it's tipped in by Hullaby. Lockhart smacks it around out of play, but they say it was deflected as the Hat-Tricks were bidding for a 5-on-3 chance on a delay of game penalty, but the referees say it was deflected. Face-off coming deep in Prowler territory. Hat-Tricks switch up their power play unit. Van Durkin set to draw against Matt Graham here. Van Durkin to the boards. And here's Vasiliev. Regains control, goes over to Pamaleon, and now Woolley across. Vasiliev walking in. Down low, centering feed, and Van Durkin unable to get a shot through. Vasiliev on the backhand, stopped by Cooper. It sits right next to the post. And pushed behind the net. Graham clears as Reed Cooper stands his ground. 1:05 gone off the 4 minutes. 2 shots on net already for the Hat-Tricks. Here comes Pamaleon. Had it taken off his stick, and Johnson fires it all the way back towards Connor McCullum. Pamaleon leaves it for Van Durkin. Gets the red line, weaves his way in, off for Vasiliev. To the point. Frolov, Vasiliev. Back to Frolov, takes a look, he shoots, blocked by Fox. Floated down deep, centering feed, good stick by Johnson to keep it away from Van Durkin. Van Durkin now down to Frolov, around the net, trying to put it out in front and off a stick. Frolov across, Van Durkin to Frolov, had it poked off his stick as he went tumbling. Pamaleon backs him up, sent it through, that was blocked by traffic and sent all the way down. First minor penalty is off the board, minute 48 left in the second one as Millette went flying in, trying to cause some trouble. The Let's Go Hat-Tricks chant starting. Here comes Harwell, centering feed, Hullaby, it wouldn't go. Ratcliffe across, Harwell missed it wide the yawning cage. Labella drive, saved by Cooper. Organ able to pitchfork it out. Oh my goodness, the Hat-Tricks just missed a couple of glorious chances. 1:15 left on their power play as LaBelle gets it over to Hullaby on the right wing side. His shot stopped by Cooper. Ruiz trying to settle down the rebound, couldn't do it. Came all the way through for Ratcliffe. Slows things down. LaBelle just fired it back deep. Comes back up top. Ratcliffe. Harwell. Tried to go down behind the net. Johnson blocked it. He's double teamed. Johnson getting back to the puck. Only got as far as Ratcliffe. Ruiz takes the shot, knocked down by Cooper, and he has it covered up for a whistle and a face-off. 41 seconds left in the double minor to Braden Simmons-Fisher. Danbury missed the net a couple of times on glorious opportunities. It stays 4-3. You are watching the Commissioner's Cup playoffs, presented by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey.
At Hungry Howie's, we have a flavor philosophy. It's that you deserve to mix and match the most delicious flavor you've ever had with even more of the most delicious flavor you've ever had. But how can you mix and match the most delicious flavor twice at the same time? Well, we're not in the business of logic. We're in the business of blowing your flavor-loving mind with flavor upon flavor. Philosophize on that. Get any 2 items on the mix and match menu, including the 2-topping flatbread pizza for $6.99 each.
Hungry?
Howie's!
Over 700 watching in the stream right now. Thanks so much for tuning in for a heck of a hockey game. Still 4-3 Prowlers. Early stages of the third. 32 seconds left on this Danbury power play. And this glove down by Ratcliffe. LaBelle Up for Harwell. Enters the offensive zone. Spins it back for LaBelle. Across, Ratcliffe. LaBelle fakes it. Ruiz one-timer. Kick saved by Cooper. Sent around the boards by Oregon. And that should take care of the rest of the penalty, and the Prowlers survive the double minor early in period 3. They still have a 1-goal lead. Sent all the way through, no icing. Simmons Fisher fresh out of the box, trying to get to that puck. Lockney off the glass. Graham hustles up to it. Trying to get to Millette. Able to get it there now. Try to spin it out in front. Only found Woolley. Comes up on the counter with Robinson. Got it to him. Noah Robinson on the outside. Stick saved by Cooper. Comes all the way over to Matt Graham. 3-on-2 for the Prowlers if they hurry. Millette drops. Graham, a shot. Saved by McCullough with the stick. Back the other way comes Woolley again. Slowly this time, and he dumps it around. Simmons Fisher up to Graham, able to tip it in, but from his own side of center, so icing called here against the Prowlers. 6:55 gone in period number 3, and the hat trick's already up to 10 shots on net in the frame. 7 of those shots coming during the 4-minute double minor. Danbury up on shots 39-23 at this point. They're throwing everything at Reed Cooper, trying to tie this game with their season on the line. Another icing here by the Prowlers. Again, the Prowlers have played all but 16 seconds of this game short a man, with Tucker Scantleberry getting ejected with a match penalty. They have been able to battle through it throughout the night. Van Durkin and Graham again. One back to Vasiliev. His shot blocked by a sliding Simmons Fisher. Frolov out for Bedard. Takes a look, and Cooper the save. LaBelle got it back down and around. Graham able to take it up the glass. LaBelle pinched in, put it right on goal. And Cooper makes the save. A hat trick went diving to the ice. That was Vasiliev, I believe. And the fans rose out of their seats looking for a penalty. And Vasiliev is down on the ice. And the training staff coming out for the Danbury Hat Tricks, head trainer Adrian Dembeck out to take a look at the 35-year-old. Looks like he got hit up high with a stick away from the play. Oh, Simmons Fisher got him up high with the stick. And the Prowlers may have gotten away with one here, as Vasiliev has a towel on his mouth. Josh LaBelle is furious and having a long conversation with the referee here. Again, I think the Prowlers got away with one here. See where they place this face-off. Hat Tricks fans furious with the no call. This draw will be to Cooper's left. Actually, discussion being had on where the face-off should be. Prowlers think it should be over on the other side, but as of right now, looks like they're keeping it on Cooper's left, and Tyler Fox adamant that it should be on the other side, but instead he'll have to slide in, gets Josh Newberg where it is. Newberg won it back clean, but they blow it dead. We'll try it again between Fox and the veteran Newberg. It is the third team that Newberg has made the Commissioner's Cup playoffs with. He has not won the cup, and he's also played for Binghamton and Watertown in the playoffs. Federley launches this one, almost got it into the TK's corner bar up top here down to our left, as Austin Federley really got under that one, but since he's not in the defensive zone, then it's no penalty. Newberg and Fox in on this face-off. Biggest game of the night in the FPHL, the only game of the night in the FPHL. The second game 3 of this first round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs as Hullaby tried to push it on net. Back pass, Robinson, stopped by Cooper, and then Robinson sent himself tumbling into the post. He'll get back to his skates. This has been one heck of a hockey game. And again, thank you all for tuning in, whether you're a Prowlers fan or a fan of any other team in the FPHL, or even not an FPHL fan, and you're just wondering, what is this hockey game that randomly appeared on my YouTube feed? Hope we make a fan out of you guys. DeCumbis able to win the faceoff forward. He gets around LaBelle. DeCumbis off to Lockney, a shot off the board. DeCumbis had it poked out of the zone. Second straight game with a post for Lucas Lockney in the third period. Robinson looks up to Newberg, trying to step around DC. Newberg cross corner dump. Oregon and Ratcliffe get there together. DeCumbis steps out, works his way up ice. Able to toss it up off the glove of Ruiz. And Harwell is the next one to touch it, but they did not call the hand pass. Guess Harwell, they said his body was in the defensive zone, or maybe they lost track of it, but either way, 11:33 left to go in the third, and we'll get a face-off after the offside call. They will bring the face-off all the way back into the Prowlers' end here. Still lots of time on the board here. Top line out for the hat tricks as Ruiz and Fox get set for this face-off. And Parsons and Harwell jumped early on the far boards. Comes to the point, Pamelayan lets it go, kick save, Cooper, rebound, and Cooper able to hold it. Oh, Price had to push it back underneath him. There was no whistle. Bobby Price was standing in the crease, pushed it back underneath Reed Cooper. And we almost had another moment like game 1 when Chase Harwell scored after Cooper made a save and there was no whistle. Hat tricks up 14-1 on shots in this third period. And of course, not counting the Lucas Lockney crossbar. Selin Ruiz on this draw. It drops, comes to the point. Ratcliffe to Pamelayan. Trying to send it down low, right on the tape of Brett Lockhart. Goes off the glass, out of the zone, and that will be an icing. .11:09 to go. Time ticking away as slowly as it possibly can if you're on the visitors' bench. I'll put the draw back on that same side on Cooper's right. This time it's the Russian line. Out for the hat tricks, minus Vasiliev. Connor Woolley taking his spot. Comes to the boards, Johnson able to wrap it around. Vinny DeCumbis steps towards the red line, sends it in, and McCullum, touched it. Prowlers able to get a change here. Woolley over to Frolov. As the man going to the net tried to send it there, and Brockway able to block it. There's Oregon off the boards. Abdella able to work it to Woolley. Tossed it in, Woolley back after it, and Graham with a good stick swipes it over to the boards. From the point, sent down low. Van Durken after it, along with a couple of Prowlers. Graham and Brockway digging away. So is Frolov. Off the glass, out of the zone, and Robinson chases it back in his own end. Prowlers in survival mode right now in this third period. We approach the midway point of it. Port Huron with a 1-goal lead. in the winner-take-all game 3. Gonzalez able to send it in. Parsons moves it around this way. Gonzalez was tripped up. Fans want a penalty they won't get. Here come the Prowlers. Fox drops it off. DZ a shot off the glass and up out of play. 9:50 left in regulation. Prowlers still with a 1-goal lead in the winner-take-all game 3. This is the Commissioner's Cup playoffs presented by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey.
EDA, providing local business support for over 70 years. And helping to boost our region's workforce, retain and attract talent. Working to grow the local economy and the flow of money into our community to help businesses be profitable and successful. Focused on improving the region's economic strength and quality of life for residents. To learn more about the EDA of St. Clair County, visit edascc.com.
Explore 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron in Michigan's Thumb Coast. Begin your adventure on a blanket of golden sand at one of our serene beaches. Connect with the historic atmosphere of our region's nautical influence and reconnect with friends under a blanket of stars. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here in Danbury, past the midway point of the Scholes Family McDonald's third period. Prowlers clinging to a 1-goal lead. Hat-tricks have 14 shots in this third period to the Prowlers 1. Reed Cooper has stopped them all so far. Shots are 43-23 in favor of Danbury in the game. Port Huron has an offensive zone face-off here. Again, that shot by DZ did not count as a shot on net. DZ is lined up right behind Tyler Fox looking for another opportunity, but it's Newberg who wins the draw back. Bedard tossed it out. Simmons Fisher tried to make a pass across, kicked off of Newberg's skate. Loose puck, Bedard. Quickly to Hullaby. Now Robinson working with Newberg. Robinson closed off by Simmons Fisher. Lockhart sends it around. Comes all the way to the point. LaBelle floats it through, changed direction, ended up behind the net. Simmons Fisher with a little reverse hit there on Hullaby. Here come the Prowlers. Fox by himself with his team getting set to change. Sent it on McCullum, who keeps it moving. Bedard gets the red line, sends it in. Oregon first on it. Off the glass, blocked by Ruiz. Graham pushes it back behind his cage. Alex Johnson got it out of the zone. And Ratcliffe for Bedard. Harwell able to push it in. Johnson off the glass this time, got past Mavalli, but that will be an icing against the Prowlers. This is not a game you want to play if you're the Port Huron Prowlers. Continuous icings and continuous opportunities for the hat-tricks to get face-offs deep in the offensive zone. Tired group of Prowlers out there right now. It's the top line and the top defense pairing. Although it's Oregon and Johnson. Those two did not start the game as a pairing. Ratcliffe and Johnson cancel out. Here's Oregon. Up for Lockney. Trying to get it through Mavalli, couldn't do it. Pamaleon for Mavalli, able to touch it along. Ratcliffe through towards Harwell. He and Johnson chase after it and cancel out. Graham sent the pass all the way across looking for Lockney. Couldn't find him. Pamaleon up to Ratcliffe. Harwell has Ruiz going to the net. Tried to send the puck there off a stick. Federley just moves it out of the zone. Abdella gave it away to Federley. Gonzalez comes back for it. Over to Frolov. Almost turned it over, but he got to Abdella as Fox closed in on him. Gonzalez, pardon me, couldn't bring in that pass cleanly, and the Prowlers dump it back out again. Austin Federley took a hard hit, and he's down in the Prowlers' end. That was Abdella, and Fox trying to get after Xavier Abdella. Vadim Frolov and the linesman trying to hold him back. Prowlers trainer Bridget Smith, who made the trip, is hustling out to check on the Prowlers captain. He's down on the ice, still on his hands and knees. Abdella came in and finished his check. And Federley went down. Trying to see if I can find the play again here. And now Federley back to his skates, doubled over and being helped to the Port Huron bench, slowly in that direction. Lockhart and Parsons helping Federley there. And the Prowlers, who have had multiple forward injuries in this series, now see another one go down. They lost Scantleberry for the game. Prowlers now down to 8 forwards. 7:38 still to go that they need to get through. Fox and Van Durken will get set for this face-off, I believe, although Ben Brockway is being sent to the bench. So is Tim Organ. They're trying to send Lockhart and Johnson out onto the ice. That was the referee's doing, not Chris Paulin's doing behind the Prowler bench. But Fox and Van Durken get in on this face-off. And now Fox has to lead the draw. Bobby Price will take it instead. Actually, DC will slide in for it. Van Durken wins it back. Shot towards the net, blocked up by a stick. Frolov centering feed. And Van Durken was tied up by Price. Moved up the boards. And then a penalty coming up. High sticking as Brett Lockhart got caught up high. That was away from the play. And Lockhart, for the second time in this game, heading to the bench, holding his face. Stick came right up on him. And the Prowlers will get a power play here with 7:28 to go. And they're up a goal. Looks like it's Vadim Frolov, the one sitting in the penalty box. Third man advantage of the night for Port Huron. A huge opportunity for Port Huron here. Tim Organ will take Austin Federley's spot on this power play. He has the puck now, walks the blue line, takes the shot, tipped just wide. Graham on the half wall, up to Millette. Organ for Lockney. Talked about the importance of special teams in this game. Can the Prowlers make the hat tricks pay? Lockney's shot blocked, and it drops. Still in play as Josh LaBelle got in the shooting lane. Sent in front, Johnson's shot may have hit the post. McCullum wasn't ready for it as it just caromed to the middle of the ice. Millette back on goal, save McCullum. Graham tries a follow-up, then McCullum also stops. Millette at the point, walks, sent it through. McCullum the save, rebound, kicks around, and Ratcliffe controls and floats it all the way down. Minute 5 left on this Prowlers power play. Organ chased out by Van Durken. Goes back to the safety behind his own net. Price across. Here comes DC. Drops it off. Simmons Fisher goes across looking for Lockhart. And he couldn't get a clean shot at it. Gonzalez sent it up the boards. Kept in by Brian Parsons, taking Organ's spot on this power play unit. DC to the point. Parsons. Back for DC. Takes a look from the left wing circle. Parsons, DC, touch pass across. Lockhart sells it down off the kick plate. Parsons with 25 to go on the power play. Sent it all the way through. Couldn't find a teammate. Lockhart walks. Off for Simmons. Fisher. His shot swallowed up by Connor McCullum. 14 seconds left on the penalty to Vadim Frolov. Prowlers have 5 shots on net during this power play. They have 7 shots here in the period. Top unit back out there for Port Huron. Comes to the boards, but Johnson couldn't push it back to the point. Graham and Gonzalez come together behind the net. Graham controls. Harassed still by Gonzalez. Johnson swoops in for the loose puck. Around to Millette, try to whip it on net. It comes out of the zone. Hat-tricks off to the races. Ruiz on the backhand, stopped by Cooper, and he hangs on. So the power play expires for the Prowlers. And they still lead by just a goal with 5:23 left to go in regulation. Over 800 now on the live stream. Thank you so much to everybody who's tuning in, making this a record night for the PHP network. As Bedard had it go through him, but Price couldn't pick it up, and he fires it around as he came back for it. LaBelle quick up, but he missed his intended target. Icing waved off. Price had to head off to the bench as his helmet was partially coming off his head, so he couldn't continue up ice, just had to dump it. Lockney lofts it all the way down. DC hustles to win the race and negate the icing. Fox claps it around this side. Organ works down the wall, on net, caught Bedard up high. Lockney all the way around the net. Floats it up top. Parsons on his backhand, gets it down and around. Bedard sweeps it. And Oregon back in the neutral zone, able to control, send it right back in. It hit Van Durken and then Millette. So offsides called here against the Prowlers. 4.5 left in regulation. Prowlers hanging on with a 4-3 lead. You are watching the Commissioner's Cup playoffs presented by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rear-view mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
Welcome to McDonald's. How may I help you?
Can I please get a big...
What I need from you is a chicken Big Mac.
A chicken Big Mac? That's not a Big Mac.
Actually, it is.
It's not
a Big Mac.
Chicken Big Mac?
Chicken bag, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, and pickles on a sesame seed bun. Enjoy.
The chicken Big Mac.
It's not a Big Mac.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Face off at center ice. 1-goal game. 4.5 to go. And we continue. Xavier Abdella stops up behind his own net. On for Gleb Van Durken. Vasiliev one-hands it in, but offside. The Let's Go Hat Tricks chant starting from the Danbury faithful. Van Durken will draw against Matt Graham just outside the Prowler zone. Every face-off increasingly important. Vasiliev steps in towards Van Durken, knocked away. Lockney off the glass, out of the zone. Gonzalez trying to settle it down. Here's Frolov turning the corner. Gave it to Vasiliev. Van Durken a shot! And swallowed up by Reed Cooper. Van Durken got a great look from the top of the circle. And Reed Cooper cut down the angle and made the save. Tick under 4 to go. Newberg has his line out there. He'll draw against Vinny DeCumbis. Newberg won it back. LaBelle let it go. It's blocked. DeCumbis able to get it as far as the line. Now he gets it out. DeCumbis up to the races with a step. DeCumbis back pass Price. He scores! Bobby Price has his second. A huge insurance marker. The Prowlers are up 2 with 3:48 to go. Vinny DeCumbis inserted into the lineup for the first time in this series, made it happen. Bobby Price goes 5-hole for his 3rd goal of the series and 2nd of the night. It's a 2-goal lead with under 4 to go. That will help, but still time left as Harwell tries to sweep it out in front. Here comes Oregon on for Millette. The Let's Go Prowlers chants starting from the fans in the suite across the way. A good Prowlers contingent is here, and they may just get to see history. 3:18 up on the big board as Cooper gloves down the dump in from Ruiz. Vinny DeCumbis made it happen, and a period that the Hat Tricks controlled, dominated, peppered Reed Cooper with shots. But it's the Prowlers who get the goal, and Bobby Price goes 5-hole on Connor McCullum. Timeout called by Danbury. Boy, can you feel it now, Port Huron. Prowlers have not won a playoff series since 2018, 7 years ago. They are up by 2 with 3:18 still to go. Still lots that can happen. But what a huge goal from the rookie, Bobby Price, who's played a huge role in this series. He scored the last 2 Prowler goals, made it 4-2 in the second and now 5-3 here in the third. He scored the first goal that began a run of 6 unanswered for the Prowlers in Game 1 on Friday. And here we are. Prowlers trying to scratch him up and get to the next round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. Graham has his line out there. There are only 4 Prowlers out there. Here comes Reggie Millette. Well, the Hat Tricks have Johnny Ruiz's line. Connor McCullum's on the bench, so 6 Hat Tricks on the ice. And here's Lockney to the empty net. And he sent it over the glass out of play, and that's a penalty. Lucas Lockney from his own zone sent it out of play. And the Hat Tricks will get a chance on the man advantage. I can't believe it. Just got too much under it. And a 6-on-4 advantage here for Danbury. Harwell, Vasiliev, Van Durkin, Ruiz, Ratcliffe, and LaBelle. Hat Tricks need 2. They're on the man advantage. Net's still empty down at the other end. LaBelle for Vasiliev. Back to LaBelle. Ratcliffe walks the line, sent it through off the back glass. Vasiliev tries to stuff it. Net comes off its moorings. It's still in play. And finally they blow it dead. And Lockhart and Van Durkin getting into it a little bit. They can't make it easy. Lucas Lockney for delay of game. Sits in the box. And now Chris Paulin has called his timeout. And he'll draw something up for the 6-on-4 penalty kill. Austin Federley is back there on the ice, by the way. So good to see him back out there after he was doubled over at the end of his last shift. Well, we talked about the stakes for the Prowlers. How about for the hat tricks? They won the Commissioner's Cup 2 years ago, and as is typical with Commissioner's Cup winning teams, that team got picked apart. Plenty of players going to other leagues or retiring a champion. But they're trying to build back up, but they are staring in the face their second straight first-round exit since finishing on top. That same six: Vasiliev, Harwell, Ruiz, LaBelle, Van Durken, and Ratcliffe. For Danbury, Prowlers going with Graham, Johnson, Federley, their three longest tenured players, and Brett Lockhart, who's in his first full pro season, a collegiate signing last year. And off the faceoff, Graham wins it. Lockhart sends it all the way around. Ruiz keeps it alive, sent it across, and Graham with a good stick, able to ride that up out of play. Faceoff now comes to Cooper's right. Van Durken and Graham once again. Ratcliffe for Ruiz, gave it right back across LaBelle. Looks, goes down to the corner. Vasiliev to LaBelle, across Ruiz. Ratcliffe, LaBelle, one-timer, save Cooper, couple more save, ends up behind the net. LaBelle, Ratcliffe lets it go off the back glass. Johnson off the boards. Graham trying to sweep it out of the zone, and he does. Minute 6 left on the power play. Ratcliffe gets back in. Takes a look, goes down low. Vasiliev couldn't center, and Cooper able to smother it. 2:06 to go in the game, 54 seconds on the Hat Tricks power play. Neither team has a timeout left. So this tired group of Hat Tricks sticking out there with no break. Prowlers have 4 fresh killers on. Van Durken wins it back. LaBelle sends it off the back wall intentionally. It's right in the crease. Cooper stands his ground. LaBelle to Ruiz, fires, it's blocked by Oregon out of the zone. LaBelle sent it in, couldn't find a teammate, that's an icing. They blow it dead for icing. LaBelle doesn't like the call. The Prowlers scratches are right up along the glass at the front of the suite that's populated by Prowler fans, along with Jeremy Rancourt, Prowlers alumni, along with Brett Lockhart last year. Came as a collegiate player out of Plymouth State. He's now coaching prep hockey in New Hampshire, but he came down to Danbury for this weekend's games. And he is yelling and loud along with the Prowler scratches up top. And Josh LaBelle has been given an unsportsmanlike conduct. So just like last night, Alex Johnson got a late misconduct when the Prowlers were trying to tie the score. This time it's Josh LaBelle. 33 seconds left on the Prowlers power play. McCullum is back in between the pipes. Ratcliffe to Pamaleon. As he moves up, clock never started. The clock has not started. And they blow it dead. And now we have a controversy. Hat-tricks were moving up ice, but the clock never started. I counted 10 seconds that came off, at least on my screen here. We'll see what they reset it to. Let's see what the call is here, where they place the face-off, what they reset the clock to. Certainly not the first clock controversy in the playoffs here in Danbury. Fans chanting at the referees, but it was the scorer's table that initiated the whistle, as they now reset the clock to 1:49. So it looks like they will just replay it from that same spot, I believe. Try and go back to the same face-off spot. We shall see. They're still chatting about it, but 1:49 is now up on the big board here at Danbury Ice Arena. Chris Paulin getting the explanation over on his bench, as the referee still trying to figure things out in the box. Austin Federley having a chat at center. So they try and figure out how much time is left on Lockney's penalty, make sure that correct number is put up. In a tight game like this, the way it's been, and what the stakes are, you have to make sure this is as correct as possible. They've now put 1:25 up on the clock. Wow, I think the Prowlers just got an extra 10 seconds run off. Boy, Port Huron gets the lucky break there. I counted 10 seconds that came off. They knocked 20 seconds off, and the Prowlers get a break. As McCullum went to head back to the bench, puck came to him, and he'll leave it for Ratcliffe. 14 seconds until Lucas Lockney steps out of the box. Here come the hat tricks. Ruiz works in for the outside. His shot gloved and held by Reed Cooper. 3 seconds left on the power play for the hat tricks. A 6-on-4 attack until Lucas Lockney steps out of the penalty box. Harwell and Graham in on this face-off. Pamaleon taking LaBelle's spot as part of that 6 for the hat tricks. Finally, puck is dropped. Lockhart rims it around. Federley couldn't chop it out. Here's Ratcliffe sending it through. That hit some bodies, sent all the way down off the post. Alex Johnson almost with a 200-foot goal. Graham trying to waste some time. It comes to Vasiliev. Johnson steps up, gets it back deep. Pamaleon with 40. Ratcliffe up to Vasiliev. Van Durken, a shot, kicked out by Cooper. Lockney takes a look, and he goes to Price. Now Lockney with the empty net, missed it wide. Lockney trying to get back to it, he's taken out by Pamaleon. Hat-tricks move back up. Van Durken, Graham steps up on him. Graham swept it back in, 14 seconds left to go. Lockhart to the empty cage, he missed it wide. It won't matter, but that's an icing. 7.4 left to go. The Prowlers are staring Binghamton in the face. 7 years in the making. It's been a long time coming, Port Huron. Keep the ice in at McMorran Place. The Prowlers are coming back for round 2. Ruiz a drive, that's blocked. Johnson to the corner. On Easter Sunday, you hunt Easter eggs. The Prowlers went for the rabbit. For the first time in 8 years, the Port Huron Prowlers advance in the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. The drought is over. Pain and misery for years for Port Huron fans and the players that have been here for a long time. And this one might not be done, it might get ugly. Everybody trying to keep the peace here. 2018, the last time the Prowlers won a playoff series. For reference, I was in high school. I went through a full college, 4 years in school, got a bachelor's degree, and this is year 3 for me with the Prowlers. And now they are moving on to the semifinals, where they will take on the Binghamton Black Bears, the defending Commissioner's Cup champions. Date to be determined, time to be determined. But we do know the opponent, Prowlers and Black Bears, at McMorran Place for game number 1. We want you to be there. Tickets will go on sale this week. Stay tuned to the Prowlers social media channels. Handshakes here in Danbury, as one of the great traditions of hockey commences just as soon as they get AJ Galante off the ice. And now they get it moving. The handshakes to seal the deal. Exhale, Port Huron. Your Prowlers are coming home. And they'll be back at McMorran Place once again. Let's go Prowlers chants from the people up in the suites who made the trip, whether they came from nearby New York, Massachusetts, or all the way in Saskatchewan, or even from good old Port Huron. They got a show as their team came into Danbury, faced adversity throughout their time in Connecticut. But they will head to round number 2 in the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. As the handshakes continue, we take a break. The post-game show is next.
Seriously, not even that much better than you.
Should have just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it! I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Will Wiggleman back here in Danbury. The handshake line wrapping up. For the first time since 2018, the Prowlers do not end after their first playoff series. They will move on to the semifinals to take on the Binghamton Black Bears. You look at the guys who have been here the longest. Austin Federley, since the 2016-17 season. Matt Graham and Alex Johnson, since the season after that. Chris Paulin, who's seen the old Prowlers and now is part of the new Prowlers. Brian Parsons, who's been here a long time as well. Think about everything those guys have been through. And to get over the hump here, the job's still not finished, But boy, that has to feel good, and we will certainly hear from them coming up after this one. Let's go back through this one goal by goal. A disastrous start for the Prowlers. They could have absolutely packed it in after a first 7 minutes that saw their alternate captain kicked out. A 5-minute power play that they gave up a goal on, and a 2-minute power play that they gave up another goal on. It was 2-0 hat tricks, 7:04 in. But like a championship team does, Prowlers did not quit. They kept it moving, and they get a big goal from Reggie Millette at the end of period 1 with under 2 to go. That is our proper 12 shot of the night. Reggie Millette with an absolute rip to the top corner. And it was a 2-1 game heading into the second. Then the big call. Last night the Prowlers had a goal taken off the board, a power play goal. Tonight it was the hat tricks with a power play goal taken off the board in the early stages of period 2. Prowlers responded with 2 goals in 12 seconds to take the lead. And then late in the frame, as Matt Graham and Tyler Fox, by the way, getting those goals. Then later in the frame, Bobby Price made it 4-2. Jacob Ratcliffe got one back for the hat tricks. It was a 4-3 game heading into the third, and you knew this one certainly wasn't over with the reputation these two teams have for third periods this season. Prowlers got everything thrown at them but the kitchen sink. Hat tricks, throw 24 shots on net in that third period. Reed Cooper stopped them all. He is our Gunther Graphics player of the game. Gunther Graphics, your go-to guy for logos, websites, and branding, as Cooper makes 50 saves on 53 shots to get the win. And who else to score the late insurance marker but Bobby Price, who's had a great playoff so far, and he'll get to continue it in round number 2. Take a look at the final stats. Prowlers outshot significantly, but they get the win here tonight and move on to round number 2 in the Commissioner's Cup playoffs, Port Huron. We will see you this week. Game time, game date, not yet determined, but we do know the opponent. It's the Binghamton Black Bears. Prowlers will try and knock off the defending champs just like they did the champs from 2 years ago. And we will have it here for you on the PHP Network, but we need you at McMorran Place. Pay attention to the Prowlers social media channels for when tickets will be released for round 2. But for now, signing off from Danbury, my name is Will Wiggleman. Whether you're a Prowlers fan or just like good hockey, I think you enjoyed tonight. I hope you enjoyed my work, and we hope to see you again next time here on the PHP Network.